We good?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. It's been a while. Excuse me. It's been a while because I don't know what my Zoom zoomed and then I don't know what happened. But we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going live at 10:40 Eastern. If you are in the West Coast, you're welcome. Um, fellas, we are here. We are on the eve of the 2021 football season. What we're going to do for y'all tonight, because it's been a quiet season, it's been a quiet off season for Views from the 22. For the first time since its creation, we had a quiet off season. But as you can see, the head is bobbing. And as you can see, Germ got his glasses extra polished tonight. Okay. I don't know what my beard doing. My beard is extra bearding, I guess. I got on this 5XL hoodie for comfort. But we about to get uncomfortable. Because the 2021 NFL season is upon us. And we got some things we want to do for y'all tonight. We're going to set up tomorrow's show. We're going to be live Sunday with Views and Dues week 1 with a special 90-minute show at the least. Be ready for that. That show might go 2 hours. It might go till kickoff. We may go live at 10 o'clock on Sunday. Just be ready Sunday to spend your morning on the scene with the Views crew. And who is the Views crew? Well, I am Mo Schefter. That is Vic Jr. And that is the one, the only, Germ So True. How we feeling tonight, fellas?
Talk about it,
I feel
Germ.
great. I feel good, man. I mean,
Yeah, Vic Germ is like groomed. Like you see, he got like a very specific facial beard stuff going on. It's like, look, the side is like very nonchalant, but in the front, it's like Professor True is in the building tonight. That's how it feels like.
He should have told us, to make it a priority. I would have made it a priority this morning to sign it because, he looking sharp. I'm looking scruffy.
That's all right.
Sounds excited. Sounds like he's excited a brand new man or something.
I just, it's just different in life, when football comes back around and everybody around you is ready for football.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Hey, man, let me tell y'all something. This year should be the best year yet. That's all I'm going to say as we get ready to do this. Vic, go ahead and holler at the people. And then I'm going to jump back in and I'm going to take control of the show and we're going to get this thing going, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, excited. Tomorrow is the day. I can't be any more excited. I don't remember ever being more excited for a season, bro, because it's just so much to talk about. It's like, it feels like every team, probably for just a select few, have some interesting storylines, some interesting players to watch. We know some of the teams. We'll keep our mouths closed until that team pops up on the docket. But I'm excited, man.
So let's start at the top, man. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna give you position, pretty much division by division. We're gonna break some things down. We're gonna talk about a couple of things. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it relatively quick. This is just what we do. We're gonna hit y'all quick today. We're gonna talk about some things tomorrow. And then Sunday we'll slow it down and we'll dish you a little bit more. Put a couple things together. So with that being said, let's start at the top. AFC North. This division should be one of the premier divisions in football. We're gonna start with good stuff because that's how we like to do it here at Views. I predict that this may be the division that sees 3 teams in the AFC go to the playoffs. It is possible. So let's start at the top. Who we project that should finish at the top. We're going to start with the Cleveland Browns. Let's start with the transactions.
Yeah, man. So for Cleveland, it comes down to a couple things, right? Their draft, I'll give it a C+. And I'm sure when the fellas get into the offense and defense, they'll touch on a couple guys, particularly the corner that they drafted in the first round. But just to stick with that defense, they signed Jadeveon Clowney, they signed Sheldon Day, they signed Malik Jackson, and as we talked about pre-show, Malik McDowell, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks, made the roster. Listen, I think for Cleveland, it's real simple. With the pieces that they have coming back, with the pieces that they added, the depth and talent that they added around Myles Garrett, this team, and where the fellas are going to get into this, and this is Germ has been talking about them for the last 3 months behind closed doors, and he's going to get into it. But Cleveland, Germ, they primed for success this year, man.
Absolutely. It starts with the offensive side of the ball. And that's what we're going to talk about real quick. Briefly, offensive line, they're bringing back some very good players. Jedrick Wills came out and said, last year I sucked. That means I'm looking for a really, really big year from him, coming back from the second-year left tackle that they picked up last year in the first round. This is Baker Mayfield's second year in this scheme with the way that they do it in the West Coast. Yes, this is a West Coast scheme for sure. Stefanski loves it. This is baby Kirk Cousins. That's pretty much what Baker plays like. That's not a negative thing. Kirk Cousins won a lot of games for Stefanski in that scheme. And Baker has a lot of similar qualities, probably a better arm. And he also probably has arguably the best running back in football with Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Nicholas Jeremiah Chubb is as Vic would say, disgusting. This is one of those guys that I didn't expect for him to come into the league and be this transcendent to the NFL the way he was. He is still a tremendous talent, but I didn't expect it to be like this. Then they still got Kareem Hunt. Dearness Johnson is their third back, and he's the top 32, arguably running back. And he's playing punt return, kick return for this team. That's going to be interesting. Offensive line, they still got Jarvis. They still got Odell. Be on the lookout for Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think he's going to come in and play some X, free up Odell. I don't know if Odell's an X. I've been saying this for years.
Yes.
Free up Odell and Jarvis. Donovan Peoples-Jones has shown all training camp he can make the contested catches. This offense should be primed for success. You got tight ends in by the Grove. I'm talking about you got flavors. You like chocolate? We got guys like David and Njoku who are thunder. They run up and down the field like gazelles. You got big guys who can block. You got Austin Hooper. But if you want a guy who you can line up at every position out there, you got a guy that went to a place where Mo was very, very close to, FAU.
Yeah, baby.
Mr. Harrison Bryant. I'm telling y'all something. I just want y'all to know, if he burst on the scene this year, no pun intended, y'all know why. I'm just letting y'all know now. X, wherever you need him to line up, he can line up, and he runs routes like a receiver.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. He had some struggles last year as a rookie. Vic, let's talk about that defense, though.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they got some weapons on offense, bro, and on defense they got some toys that defensive coordinator Joe Wood can play with, because like Mo alluded to earlier, there is ridiculous talent on the defensive line, on the linebacker level, and in the secondary. I got this team as a sleeper defense, not only in real life, but also in fantasy. I mean, not in fantasy, but also in real life. Kind of mix those things up. So if you need a fantasy defense, go get yourself the Cleveland Browns. They got a nice 4-3 alignment where, I mean, I expect the 4 down linemen to be able to provide pressure, let those linebackers play around in space, in coverage, whether it's, towards the sidelines, whether it's going backwards, whatever the case may be. They should be able to provide a very solid pass rush with Myles Garrett, of course, Malik McDowell that we just talked about, Malik Jackson, all kinds of toys in that defensive line. And I'm excited to see what the secondary can do, Jeremy. Are they going to grow? Is Denzel Ward going to be better? Is Greedy going to get better? Those are my questions, because now they got Josh Johnson playing the free safety, and they got Troy Hill playing the nickel. And those guys came from the Los Angeles Rams defense. They're going to make sure that those kids elevate their game. So, I mean, this defense can be ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Jeremy, before you take it back and we move on, I just think Cleveland is, you're going to hear us talk about this a lot. Are they going to be a 10-win team or a 7-loss team now that it's no longer 16 games? I think Cleveland is going to be easily 10 wins. And as the fellas are talking about and alluding to, they're going to be in that last week of January. At least they should be.
Mm-hmm. Paper team. I'm gonna go 13-4 for Cleveland this year. Man, if you wanted a team on paper, this is what you want.
Yeah.
This is what you want.
Everything.
We're talking premium beef everywhere. They have the beef to end up at the end where the Lombardi is. Period, point blank. 13-4 from Germ. I'm gonna slide over to you, Chef. What you got?
I'll go 12-5 just to do a little different than you. But I think Cleveland is going to be a good team. I think they're going to win. They're going to lose some games that they maybe shouldn't have lost, but that happens with everybody throughout the regular season. It's a marathon. I'm going to go 12-5, and I do think they win this division.
I mean, I wasn't expecting to make any predictions today.
Me neither, but
they ain't let me know about this.
Me neither. I didn't know either. We wasn't playing.
Hey, Omaha. To be honest with you, I just threw that in there because, bro, the more I look at this roster, I just
Omaha.
said, look, it's SH or get off the pot at this stage for this team.
No, for sure. And so,
oh my goodness.
With that being said, Germ, I got low expectations for the other team that we're gonna talk about soon here. So I'm gonna go 14-3, dog. I'll go 14-3 just because you already picked 12 and you already picked 13. So
look, you want to get to them, Germ? The good old black and yellow.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Listen. Transactions. Look at it, man. I'm a wait till we get to the predictions before Allegheny and Westmoreland and Fayette come after me. But as far as the transactions are concerned, Marquise Pouncey has retired. That's not good. Vance McDonald has retired. Okay, not a big loss, but nonetheless a loss. Bud Dupree is with Tennessee now. And James Conner has gone to Arizona. There are some big names I just threw at you. So it looks like Pittsburgh lost a lot. In reality, they had a pretty quiet but pretty efficient offseason. It started when they re-signed just about everybody that was important. Now, you could talk about Bud Dupree and his importance, but the reality is Bud hasn't really been healthy. And after they gave him a franchise tag and he still couldn't play through it, they really couldn't invest in him anymore. So they let him go to Tennessee, but they get back a healthy defense. They signed Chris Wormley. They signed Tyson Alualu. Hope I pronounced that right. They brought back Juju Smith-Schuster. Most importantly, with that draft, they drafted the Steelers' offensive identity. The Steelers' offensive identity since Timbuktu, since 1971, was to run the football, establish dominance on the offensive line, on the line of scrimmage. So they got Najee Harris. The problem is, do they have enough to dominate the trenches?
Yeah.
Toss it over to the offensive side.
Yeah, I mean, you touched it perfectly, bro. That's my first note here is what is going to happen with our offensive line. You know, the talent is gone. Villanueva's gone. Like you said, the Pouncey brothers gone, even though both those guys were injury prone, which could have played a factor as to why the offensive line was inconsistent. But now those guys are not there, you know, so that's going to be the question. Like you said, the identity is going to be through Najee Harris. This kid is an incredible running back. He's that physical running back that we look for, that old school. But on top of that, he's got amazing agility, okay, for the lack of speed that he has. And he also is a great pass catcher and a great blocker. This is a guy that's well-rounded package that we look for running, you know, for a running back to help you, you know, close games and stuff like that. Ben Roethlisberger entering his 18th season. I've personally seen some regression in some of his games, some of his throws, as he has to, you know, get to the mid-level or the deep level of the field. But he's still that kind of guy that can get you, you know, those clutch throws, those seam routes to the tight ends. Look out for the Pete Freiermouth. I don't know how to pronounce his name, man, but that kid is an incredible talent that they got in the second round at tight end. So they got themselves a good
Miller vibes.
Heath Miller vibes with that kid. That's exactly what Ben said too, as a matter of fact. So you got Najee Harris and you got that tight end to help out. They did not help in terms of beef with anybody big name, but we'll see what happens, man. I think there is a regression when it comes to this offense, but I think it's still going to be good enough for a playoff run.
Defensively, let me just gonna cut to the chase. The front seven, they are a chameleon in the front seven. They do a great job of drafting in that front seven. They did a great job of plugging and playing. Cameron Hayward, Alua, Wormley, That's a solid front three for 34. When you throw in the fact that they still got one of the 5 best pass rushers in football in TJ Watt, they also have one of the most intriguing linebackers in the game in Devin Bush Jr. Love the player. I think he's going to be tremendous for them this year. That is your Lamar Jackson canceller. That is your guy that you did not have on the field last year. That is going to be a big part of you being able to run with Lamar Jackson as some of your sub-power packages on that defense. But the most interesting part is you brought in Joe Sherbert, formerly from the Browns, last year played with Jacksonville.
Yeah.
By bringing him in, that gives you a veteran guy who's been known to be around the ball a lot and things like that as you continue to develop Robert Spillane. I think Spillane is the perfect complementary linebacker to Devin Bush. He's your guy that is going to be, he's extremely smart. He's extremely solid. He just doesn't have all of the bells and whistles that you would ask for out there at the linebacker position, but that's what Devin Bush is here for. I just need you to stop the run. Keep as many guys off of Devin so Devin can run like the wind. If you get those guys to do those things, Devin will have 150 tackles at the end of the year. Also, you still got Minka. He is one of the 5-6 best safeties in football. He is the captain, El Capitan of that defense. He is the most important player on that field when they step out on that unit. No shot at TJ, but when Minka is back there, everybody is organized. It's just that simple. He turned that defense around since day one, since he's been there from the Miami Dolphins. This team, I look at this team and I say, defensively, they're still going to be top 7. It just is what it is. As long as TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick are on the field, we can figure out the rest. Corners, Steelers have always figured out corners. It just is what they do. Front 7, though, one of the best in the business. This team should be a 10-win team at the least. I'm going 10-7. I think 10-7 gets you in the big dance, and I think 10-7 is good enough for you to still be a solid team. Vic, I'm gonna go to you this time.
I'll go 11-6 on the Steelers. I just think they have enough pieces to compete.
Yeah, I'll go with 11-6 too. I like 11-6. I like 10-7. Honestly, regardless, I got them at 10 wins at least. I got them making the playoffs. The question for me is going to ultimately come with Ben Roethlisberger's availability. If he's not available, all that goes out the window because Dwayne Haskins is still about 2 years shy of being ready to be a starter for a team of like the Steelers. But I think even if they do get to January, and they should get to January, how's Ben Roethlisberger going to hold up again over the marathon when the hits build up and it gets colder and the soreness is going away slower and slower? So I think it's going to be a stressful, successful year for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Transactions, Baltimore Ravens. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So basically nothing, big. I'll start with Lamar Jackson getting his 5th-year option exercised. Goes to show, do they feel like is it time to extend him? Yeah, are they going to make that decision after this season? Those are the questions. See where that offense goes. Unfortunately, they've taken a step back with that dominant offensive line that they had in previous years. They signed tackle Alejandro Villanueva from the Steelers to replace Orlando Brown. We're going to see what happens there. They got guard Kevin Zeitler from the Giants. It's an okay player as well. And they drafted Ben Cleveland from Georgia in the 3rd round, Jerm. So this is an offensive line that got some new pieces. Will they be that dominant offensive line that they had previously for Lamar Jackson? Because we know how much he needs that.
Hey, man, pass me this offense. Check this out. So everybody in the comments like, Germ got the offense? Sure do, because this is what we do, baby. It's football objectivity time. The Baltimore Ravens have one thing going for them, and they always have it going for them. They got beef. They got the beef, son. That's just what it is. At the end of the day, Ben Cleveland is good going forward. Going forward means putting 340 pounds on you and pushing you out the way. And what does that do well for? Lamar Jackson. At the end of the day, Lamar is who he is, exceptional athlete. We don't even have to talk about him anymore. Just improve as a passer, and then we'll see what this offense can really do. We just need you to be Colin Kaepernick. Yes. That don't mean be him. Be the best version of yourself but Colin Kaepernick S, and you're going to be right where you need to be at the end of the year. Mark Andrews just signed his deal. Proud of that guy. Very, very good player. The key piece to this is Ronnie Stanley is healthy. That is important. He is the third, second, first, whatever left tackle in football. He is one of those guys that is a blue chipper. Period, point blank. Receivers, y'all got receivers. Don't stop talking about the receivers. They get open enough. Let's just make sure that we run the dang ball, Bert. Let's run this ball. And now, before I pass it to Mo for the defense, let me make sure I say this. All of these bells and whistles, all of these running backs that y'all have, y'all keep on overlooking Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards is a championship caliber player. He does not do too much. He does enough, and he is an exceptional running back with exceptional vision. And most importantly, you don't become one of the only players in the last 2 calendar years to have 200-yard rushing games against the Pittsburgh Steelers front seven unless you're good at doing what? Making a hole and making people miss. There you go. Mo, take it away.
Yeah, so I think as far as their defense is concerned, it's very interesting when you look at it and you look at this defense, you look at the spells, the stretches that they've had over the last 2 seasons, and you're just not really sure, okay, which defense am I going to get this year? Am I going to get the defense that's going to lock people up? Am I going to get the defense that's going to punch you in your mouth? Or am I going to get the defense that's going to do the low blows, that's going to do the penalties, the extra hugging, and all the extraterrestrial stuff that ultimately causes you to lose football games? Why? Because it causes you to lose possessions. It causes you to lose points, which ultimately cause you to lose football games. You look at their defensive line with Wolf and Brandon Williams and Calais Campbell. There's a good mix there of, and Brandon Williams, can't forget him. There's a good little mix there of guys who've been around. You look at their secondary, Peters, Chuck Clark, Deshaun Elliott, Marlon Humphrey, and the old veteran Jimmy Smith. Same thing. You got a little bit of a yin and yang, young guys, physical guys who can fly around the ball. So you take all that, and where does it leave you with this Baltimore defense? You spotlight, and Jeremy, you talked about this a little bit in the pregame show. You spotlight those 2 linebackers, Malik Harrison and Patrick Queen. It's going to come down to me, for this defense, ultimately, discipline, consistency, and when that defense is ultimately playing more possessions because their running back-led offense is not moving the ball, how will those linebackers respond when they got to make the cleanup plays, when they got to make the necessary plays, when they got to stop that running back from gaining that extra yard to move the chains? Over the course of a 17-game season, I think there's going to be just enough crucial points where this defense falls a little short because of that. It's almost like what we see with New Orleans, and we're going to touch on that. It's like this defense is boom or bust. And they're a lot closer to bust because of the lack of discipline and the lack of veteran leadership in the quarterback of the defensive side of the football. That's my thoughts on the Ravens defense.
So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go first, and then we're going to transition into Cincinnati's transactions. Give me 10-7 for them as well. I think 10-7 is fair. Baltimore just has one thing going for them. They have a winning recipe. They have the recipe to win 10 games every year because they do what? They run the dang ball, Bert. That's all you got to do. That is going to get you 8 wins every year in the NFL if you do that well, if you run the ball.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go to you. Mo, I'm going to go to you this one.
I mean, we're going to talk about the Bengals soon, and I'm going to talk about the Bengals defense. I know where Vic is going with this. I'm going to just say I'm probably on the seesaw ladder. I'm probably tilting closer to Vic as far as the Baltimore Ravens are concerned. And I hope Vic sticks with his original hot take.
What did you say? What was your record?
I was going to save it for you to say what you got to say.
Jerm, what was his record?
10-7.
10-7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going 7-10. I think that there's a major regression with this football team. I think not only the solid defenses in this league are gonna give Lamar problems, but I even think some of the more middle level defenses are gonna also give him problems. Kind of figure out, his game. I think the running game takes a step back, and I think that offensive line takes a step back. I'm going 7-10 for the Ravens.
Hey, you remember when in Bad Boys 2, the last Bad Boys movie worth talking about? But you remember in Bad Boys 2, whenever they invaded the devil is not welcome here, and they start talking, and the dude Will tells the Haitian dude that's left that the sad part is he's the one that's in therapy. This is what's going on here, folks, before y'all jump on us. Vic is actually the most objective Ravens and analyst in here out of the three of us. And he's telling y'all they're going to be trash. So when they end up trash, don't come at Germ and leave me out of it. That's for damn sure. But go ahead.
He said he said he was gonna put his tomato away. Now he picked it back up. I mean, hey, look, all I'm gonna say is it is what it is. We shall see. The Cincinnati Bengals. My guy Josh Storm. Shouts out to him. That's my guy. Look, you picked up the best. You picked up the best of the best in the draft. You got my guy Odell Landry, Jamar Chase. He's been struggling. People are gonna say, "Oh, he's been struggling." The man ain't played football in about 18 months. It is what it is. Whatever. I don't care about all of that. We can figure that out. That's a swagger thing. At the end of the day, the key transactions here on this football team, though, it will be, will Trey Hendrickson be the player that you signed him to be? You let go of Carl Lawson in the offseason. I didn't really like that too much. Trey Hendrickson made a name for himself last year, had a very, very big year. But look who he was playing with. Look what they had around him. That Saints defense is one of those units that's just well-rounded, well-coached, and they got a lot of talent. So you're coming to this defense. I hope that they made the right choice. They brought in Larry Ogunjobi from Cleveland. He's a decent player. He's not an A-level player, but he's a B player. You brought in DJ Reader from Houston. He's a B player. You know, you still got Sam Hubbard. That's another B player. If you put a lot of B players together, you can still get a good defensive line. We're not asking you to be the number one defense. We're just asking you to do the best that you can do moving forward. I think more importantly, the key thing and the key point of all of this as we transition to offense is Jonah Williams, a left tackle in the National Football League. Go ahead, offense.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, first guy I have to talk about, Joe Burrow, coming off of that, gruesome injury. He looks ready for the first week. Watching this kid on tape, man, he's just special. I'm praying, Germ, for some health, because this is a kid that is kind of forgotten with the Justin Herbert talks, with the Mac Jones talks, the Zach Wilson talks, all these kids that have been drafted the last 2 years. It seems like Joe Burrow's kind of been pushed to the side, and for obvious reasons. The kid is special on tape. I mean, his pocket awareness is incredible. That we in Views respect the pocket passer. We think that's the way to win football games, and that's what Joe Burrow brings. Offensive coordinator Brian Callahan and the head coach Zach Taylor. I mean, they love the vertical passing game. They got the perfect quarterback to execute any passing game out there. So I think they just need to continue to work on protecting this kid. Jamar Chase, we preach beef here, right, Mo? So we preach getting those offensive and that defensive lines as strong as possible. That's how we win football games. Mm-hmm. If I had a choice to draft somebody on that beef versus a receiver, I would have probably taken the guy with the beef. But what we saw from Jamar Chase, okay, this is a football winning receiver. Mm-hmm. He can beat you. He can beat you intermediate level. He can beat you deep, and he can beat you, both sides of the field, whether it's the X, whether it's the Z, slot. This kid is an incredible hands catcher, okay? He has been dropping passes in camp. Again, hopefully it's the rust. But this is a kid that downfield is also blocking with the running back. You see the running back is going up the field, and here's Jamar Chase running with him and knocking people down. That's winning football from that receiver position. So I am hoping with Joe Burrow's health and Jamar Chase, they did pass on a couple of solid offensive linemen for this kid. But, hopefully they're able to, overcome that. Jackson Carmine, they drafted in the second round out of Clemson. It was a questionable pick. German and I weren't big fans of the player, but he is a big physical, guard that should be able to move a lot of people in the running game. And how you protect the quarterback is by getting a good offensive line and obviously a good running game. So we'll see what Jackson is able to do for the Bengals offensive line.
No doubt. I mean, Jerm talked about some of the defensive additions rather to this football team. I'm gonna give you three names, and Jerm named one of them: DJ Reader, Akeem Davis-Gaither. I hope I'm saying his last name right, and Jesse Badman Davis. Those are three players on three levels of the defense that can be elite playmakers. Bates. What's that?
Bates.
Badman Bates. Badman Bates.
You just combine two players on the defense. That's all.
I said Badman.
No. When you said Davis, you combine two players on the defense.
I said Davis.
Yeah, it's cool.
We're gonna have to run that back. I did not realize I said Davis. Okay, my bad. Take two. Those three names, fellas. I think when you look, you got three elite playmakers on all those levels. And when you look at what is the recipe for a successful defense, you got to have playmakers on different levels. When you have all three levels with elite playmakers, that puts you in a different tier. And I think if those three guys can be that, it's going to be huge. You combine that with Trey Hendrickson, like Jerm talked about, Sam Hubbard, they got a real solid front. And their secondary is low-key loaded. Okay, they got Chidobe Awuzie and Eli Apple. Let's get the bottom ones out the way. Move on up. You got Trey Waynes, Mike Hilton, Ricardo Allen. Hey, the names start getting better. And then on the two lids of that defense is Von Bell and Jesse Bates. And Von Bell can line up pretty much against any tight end you need, including Mark Andrews. And that's where I'm going to go ahead and agree with Vic with the Ravens ending last in this division comes in, because ultimately you look at this division, the Bengals, the Browns, and the Steelers, they have the pieces necessary to beat a team like Baltimore. They are built, in fact, to beat Baltimore. So I think Baltimore is going to ultimately do pretty good against teams that only see them once a year, once every other year. But when they play those divisions, when they play those teams that see him twice a year, they have about 6 in-live sessions of actually playing against him and his speed, which you cannot simulate in any way on defense. That's going to give these three teams an edge over any team in the NFL when it comes to playing Baltimore. So I think because of that, because of the Bengals' additions to their defense, I do think they win more games than Baltimore this year.
8-9 Cincinnati.
That's where I was going to. I'm going 8-9 with them.
They go 8-1 for all I care.
Yeah, I just it's a lot. I think their roster is obviously more talented than Baltimore. Like I said, I think Lamar gets figured out, and Cincinnati is able to beat them out by one game.
Now, next division, AFC South. We're gonna actually go through this division a lot faster.
Yes.
Don't worry. Now, with that being said, Tennessee, I got the transactions, y'all. Let's do this. Don Julio. For those who like they drink strong, we got Don Julio strong. Julio Jones is now part of this team. They also bowl, and they also put out there in front of us one of the better offensive lines of football, especially where they are from guard to from right guard to left tackle. They're still figuring out the right tackle thing, and they've been figuring out since they let Conklin go, who is an all-pro for the Cleveland team. We talked about it at the top of the show. Ryan Tannehill, offense is all about whatever. But the key things here is this. These are the three names that I want to name for everybody. And after that, we're going to go right to the offense. Number one, Bud Dupree. He won't play early, but he will be a big addition late. Bud Dupree is one of those guys that he will help you in your pass rush. Along with guys like Harold Landry, that is going to be an interesting tandem as we go forward. Be on the lookout for the fact that they got Caleb Farley and they signed Janoris Jenkins. I want everybody to understand this one thing. Janoris Jenkins is probably one of the best at doing what? Being a annoying man cover corner.
Nuisance.
Caleb Farley is probably the best man cover corner in this class. On top of that, having good speed, good size, and everything else. That addition with Janoris Jenkins should be very intriguing. Also, key name, Elijah Moulton. plays just like the safeties that they already have. It's going to be very intriguing how they use him. If he sees the field, he'll be a playmaker for them. Offense.
Yeah, I think, look, offensively, there's only about so many different ways you can go with this, right? Is a Julio Jones signing a big deal? Not really. Is it something that's going to make me say, ooh, Tennessee? Not really. What it comes down for Tennessee is simply this: their beef and their running game. But that's only going to get you so far when we know this offense has to play within a particular shell in order to be successful. And this is my only, and I'm not trying to be here Mr. Pessimistic tonight. I'm, matter of fact, just trying to be more realistic, just looking at the bigger picture, okay? And sometimes to get a clearer picture, you got to work with negatives. Shout out to the Certified Lover Boy. Great CD. So is Donda. Anyways.
Amen.
All I'm saying to y'all, Tennessee fans, don't kill me because you know I love y'all. You know the Views crew especially loves the Titans fans. Most of y'all, at least. But the quarterback, I don't believe they have the quarterback to take him over the hump. It comes down to that simple fact for me, fellas. I hate to be so boring, so vanilla, so, oh, come on, Mo. I have no criticism of Ryan Tannehill. He's just not that guy, man. That's it. I don't know how else to say it.
Vic, defense.
Yeah, man, real quick. 3-4 defense. Got Mike Vrabel as the head coach there. Some of that Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells type of 3-4 hybrid that he brings into there. You'll see some guys, down linemen, 4-man rush, or a 3-on-3-5s. Formations, right? 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 in the secondary. Like Jeremy alluded to, they got Caleb Farley. I'll easily take him over Adoree Jackson. So, give me that kid any day. That man coverage is outstanding with him. Again, Janoris Jenkins should bring some good veteran, presence in that secondary as well. Help Kevin Byard, who's an outstanding, very underrated safety in this league, constantly getting, around the ball. But Jeffrey Simmons, man, I pray for health. Pray for health with that kid because that's a special talent there. And he, along with Bud Dupree and Harold Landry, providing that outside pass rush, this defense could play a lot better than in previous years, and they're going to definitely need that.
I'm going 11-6 for Tennessee as we slide to Indy, but I'm gonna let you guys make your predictions, and we're gonna go right to transactions from Indy.
I'm gonna leave my predictions for this till the very after we talk about Houston.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so Indy transactions, basically the biggest one for them, one of the biggest storylines for the year was acquiring quarterback Carson Wentz from Philly. It's a conditional 2022 second-round pick. And apparently, it can become a first-round pick if Wentz plays 75% of the snaps or 70% of the snaps in a playoff appearance, okay? Along with a 2021 third-round pick in which I did not get who they drafted with that third-round pick, Germ, because I think they traded that pick for somebody else to move up in the draft. So that's the biggest news for them. Kwity Paye, they were able to get him in the first round. Outstanding pass rusher. Might be a steal in this draft, along with another guy we will talk in the future in terms of pass rush. But Kwity Paye is looking real good for them on the defensive line. So again, Carson Wentz, biggest news, one of the biggest news of this offseason for Indy.
Andrew Luck retired too soon, man. And God bless his soul. And he is like now one of the most best globally known architects in the world or something like that. Because where was this roster when Andrew Luck was there? Where was this roster? Where was this depth at running back? Where was this continuity at the beef? Where was this aggressiveness to constantly keep that beef afloat no matter who's there or who's not? So to me, you look at, and I'm no German's going to get on this defense, so I'm going to just try my best to keep it to this offense. When it comes to this offense, you got all the right offensive pieces. You got a good balance of running backs. You got wide receivers who can do different things, slot guys, physical guys, phone booth guys, speed guys. You got 2 tight ends who are, you know what? At the very least, you know they're going to block and you know they're going to catch. Okay? Wentz. Oh, you are Winston a lifetime talent, my brother. Shout out to Charles Russell. We just need you to see the field. Because look, Jacob Eason eventually can be a star, but Jacob Eason only got 1 pitch, and it's 95 plus. You know what I'm saying? Wentz, brother, pray to whoever it is you pray to. Listen to the Kanye album. He mentions so many different ways to pray.
He's a God-fearing man.
He is.
God-fearing man.
And may it be in your destiny for you to play a full, healthy season. Because if he does with this team and he plays to his potential, ain't even no prophecy. We've seen in the past what he can do. Mm-hmm. All he got to do is be there. Go ahead, Jerm.
Listen, DeForest Buckner might be entering that realm of a player where he's right there with Aaron Donald and Fletcher Cox. DeForest Buckner might be better than Fletcher Cox.
At this point, I'll take him over Fletcher Cox. I love Fletcher Cox. You know how I feel about Fletcher Cox.
But, bro, DeForest Buckner is he's in that territory. When I tell you that this player is a great focal point for a defensive line, he's just a great player. San Francisco got rid of the wrong guy. I don't even understand how you let him walk out the building. Shouts out to James Penn. He said it himself. Why would you let this guy go? What a player. Just what a fantastic player. My problem with this defense is I love Darius Leonard. I think El Capitan walked out the building and went to Cleveland, though. Anthony Walker Jr. was spectacular for them last year in the middle of that defense. The compliment that he was to Darius Leonard that allowed Darius Leonard to show us that he was a pass rusher, that is a huge part of this for me. I think they take a step back defensively. I don't think they're the number 1 defense this year. I think they're going to be good, though. Don't get me wrong. I think this defense is just like the offense, a year away from being where they need to be. I think they'll be a solid unit. I think they still have to find a replacement for Anthony Walker, or your nickel package is going to really have to come with it at the end of the day. Key player in the secondary, I know people are going to talk about all of these other guys. Julian Blackman from Houston last year will forever be a guy I will stand on the table for. What a phenomenal talent. I love the player. I love the scheme fit. I love everything. I am looking forward to this defense, seeing where they go after the loss of a couple of players. Still didn't get better as much as we needed to in the pass rush, but you know what? Let's see where they end up. Let's slide down to Sunshine and them over there in Jacksonville.
So you go to the transactions for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, we can talk about a few things for them, right? They got Malcolm Brown from the New Orleans Saints, defensive tackle. That's a pretty significant acquisition. Philip Dorsett don't really mean much. Shaquille Griffin, cornerback from the Saints. Okay, I'll do that. I mean, from the Seahawks, rather. Carlos Hyde, running back from the Seahawks. Okay, I'll take that. Marvin Jones, wide receiver, former of the Lions. Okay, whatever. Jihad Ward. Where did he go? He went to Illinois, Jerm?
Jihad Ward?
Yeah, Illinois.
Illinois, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he was a guy that I had high hopes for coming out of the draft for, well, at least for 2 downs only. But we know the biggest move, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Duval, shout out Duval County. Don't plan on ever living there again. The biggest move that the Jacksonville Jaguars made this offseason was signing quarterback Tim Tebow. Did they do anything else? Oh, yeah. They got that sunshine. Okay, sunshine. Okay, and he's not from California. Sunshine is from the South. Okay, So that means that he should transition pretty well to the NFL, as most SEC guys usually do. Will he is the question. I'm not going to say much because we got a lot to talk about with this kid. We're going to talk about him on Sunday. We're going to talk about him next Sunday and the Sunday after and the Sunday after that. But Germ, he is, after all, a production of the Peyton Manning School of Quarterback.
With that being said, the thing that we know about the Peyton Manning School of Quarterbacking is we know that there's a lot of things there that to work with. There's a lot of things there to work with. The high leg kick, the mechanics, the throwing the ball from the ear, all those things are there. The thing that I question most is sometimes it's the same thing I question with Peyton. Where are we throwing the ball? Where's the ball going? Peyton was great. Don't get me wrong, but Peyton has some things that made you scratch your head some Sundays. It is what it is. When it comes down to this, Laviska Shenault is going to be an X factor for this offense because he is, as Vic likes to say, Vic said that I like running backs that play receiver. I don't like this guy as much as I like other guys like Deebo Samuel, who we talk about later. But he is one of those guys that fits that mold. He is a guy that you want to get the ball in his hands quickly and effectively, and you want to let him move people and get him out the way. At the end of the day, he's going to be a big key because the only thing that they're not doing well is they're not getting the ball right now currently, and I hope this changes, to my guy DJ Chark. One of LSU's finest. DJ Chark, if you don't want him, trade him somewhere where you got a quarterback that can get him the ball because that kid is that good. Trevor, I'm looking forward to seeing what you look like this year at under center. That's where you're going to have to make your biggest improvement. Under center, 3-step drops, quick decision-making, things of that nature. We shall see. No Travis Etienne this year. Liz Frank, foot injury. Shouts out for the kid. We never want him to get hurt, but this is an interesting part about drafting a running back in the first round. Got to be very, very, very careful. But they have a capable guy named James Robinson who was spectacular last year, and they also brought in Carlos Hyde, who's another good guy. So with that being said, let's get to the defense, Pete. Let's get to the defense.
Yeah, I mean, a lot to talk about. This is a very talented defense on paper, but the production was just not there. They were in the bottom 5 in both pass yards given up, rush yards given up. They were bottom 5 on both categories, and they were also bottom 5 total sacks. Okay, this is a team that has Josh Allen. This is a team that drafted Clavon Chason from LSU. All right, back-to-back drafts in 19 and 20. These kids need to step up. They need to stay healthy, and then they need to step up and provide a pass rush for this defense. At least help the offense, get on the field more, because that defense was on the field a lot. They lost the time of possession a lot, and they gave up 30 points a game. Again, another bottom 5 category. This was, at the end of the day, a really bad defense. So they got some kids on paper. They got some names that they can work with. Again, Miles Jack, are you going to step up and be an elite linebacker and not just be average? Questions about that. And they got Damian Wilson from Kansas City, another average linebacker. So a lot of names to work with, a lot of talent, a lot of speed. Let's somebody got to figure it out for them.
That being said, we're going to just move on to the next team. We're just going to go ahead and move on. Everybody, this is what y'all been waiting on. Y'all been waiting on views to talk about Houston. I already seen Big Shot in the comments. So let's go ahead. Let's do this the right way. First and foremost, Houston, I got a problem. And my problem is with how you treated this quarterback that you have by the name of Deshaun Ebenezer Watson. He is the real deal, and that is for real. And I want you to understand that by the sabotaging job that you did, you sabotaged your team, and hopefully the football guys will sabotage your roster for as long as it needs to be sabotaged. So players, stop going there. Just that simple. Off-season moves, when it comes down to it, we brought back we brought in Brandon Cooks. I'm not going to say brought back because it's obviously a different situation, different time, different circumstance, but whatever. Brandon Cooks is back. Larry Tunsil obviously is the starting left tackle who you paid $20 million plus to, and we don't know if that's a good idea. I'm going to be honest. I don't know anything that they're trying to do. Tyrod Taylor currently is probably going to be the starter week 1 because of what you did to Deshaun Watson. Mark Andrews is listed to probably be a starter as far as the tailbacks go. Defensively, you just brought in a bunch of old guys, a bunch of guys that's been around the league for a long time because you're not really attracting any good talent. I'm shocked that Whitney Merciless hasn't asked to go yet. I'm shocked. What a waste of another good player, another good talent. Zach Cunningham, please leave. With that being said, we're going to transition this over to the offense.
Listen, we got a lot of loyal followers, viewers who come on these shows to listen to us give a strong take, a truthful opinion, and in a creative way. So this ain't even for drama effect, bro. This is probably the first, this ain't even no joke. I didn't even tell the fellas I was going to do this. After today, until restitution is given to Deshaun Watson, I will not intend on not talking about the Houston Texans for the entire season. I have never in my life had such despicable energy directed at a team like I do at the Houston Texans. They deserve nothing. They get nothing. And I hope they win nothing. Free Deshaun.
Hey, man, listen, the guys alluded to, there's not much to talk about here. I'm just surprised, like Jerm said, get Zach Cunningham. So we have like this big, free Deshaun Watson, movement going on.
Yeah.
Free Zach Cunningham.
Yeah.
Free Whitney Merciless and free Lovie Smith, man.
The whole team, yo. You do feel bad for the players.
Yeah. Yes.
You do feel bad for the players. And I am in no way faulting these players because at the end of the day, they got families, they got kids, they got a right to make a living, and they have worked hard to be in this fortunate position.
Very rare position.
But as far as the organization is concerned, they deserve nothing good.
Next.
As far as this division, before we move on, it comes down to Wentz and Lawrence. If Lawrence can be that quarterback people want him to be, the Jaguars have enough to be excited. If Wentz can be available and healthy and playing back to what he was, Indianapolis is going to be very excited. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on Tennessee. But the problem with this division as it stands right now, Tennessee can just skate right through the regular season and make it a division.
Yep.
Next team, AFC West. The AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs. Transactions, you are on the clock. Let's go.
Hey, shout out to the Super Bowl participants. We appreciate y'all coming over. It was fun having y'all. But listen, as far as their transactions for this offseason, a lot happened in KC. Okay, a lot happened. They lost their 2 tackles, but they made up for it. They went out. They signed Kyle Long from the Bears. That's a solid, consistent, reliable piece that you're plugging in there. Joe Tooney, probably the best guard in the game, right? You traded it for Orlando Brown, as Jerm talked about earlier when discussing the Ravens. So this offensive line, they also got from the Rams, Austin Bluth.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how to say his last name. But he's also an interior offensive line. Again, another key staple guy that you can plug in there, that can be consistent, that can move some people for you. So this Chiefs offensive line isn't necessarily going to take a step back. It might take a step forward. We'll see how they are on the discipline level in that end. They also signed, again, another underrated signing, in my humble opinion, Geron Reid, defensive tackle, formerly of Seattle. Big body. Remember, the Chiefs, they play a 4-3, but they're very fluid. They can go to that 3-4. They can go to a 4-3. They can go to a tighter front. They can do a lot with their front. You plug Geron Reid in there, where he's not relying on having to be the heavy load guy, where you have Chris Jones next to him. There's some interesting things here that could happen for the Kansas City Chiefs. Ultimately, this team, they didn't downgrade. They kind of got better, but how much did they improve? If that makes any sense. Let's see what the fellas got to say.
Yeah, I mean, real quick with the offense, man, like you said, you alluded to the Kyle Long signing, the Joe Tooney signing. But right now, they have 2 rookies, listed on the depth chart to start right now. They got Creed Humphrey, the outstanding offensive lineman, I'm going to call him, out of Oklahoma, because this kid can play every position on that offensive line. Right now at 6'6", Mo, they got him listed at the center position. Okay, so this is a big offensive line with Orlando Brown at left tackle. Okay, we know how big that kid is, 6'7", over 340 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, they at right tackle, they have Lucas Niang. German, am I pronouncing it right? This is the kid that's playing right tackle. They drafted him out of TCU a couple years ago. So there's a lot of youth, there's a lot of strength, and there's a lot of size to that offensive line right now. And hey, if they come together as one unit, okay, because that will be the key. Pat Mahomes should have an even better season, okay? I want to see some pocket awareness, Pat. I got some criticism for you. You're not the baby goat to me. I'm going to just be straight up honest to everybody, whoever's watching, our fans. Love y'all. Baby goat, I'm going to give that some time, okay? I want to see some pocket awareness, some good pocket passing consistently from Pat Mahomes. So that's what I got for the Kansas City Chiefs, the offensive line. Just beautiful. And again, my question, will this be Eric Bieniemy's last season as offensive coordinator?
The defense is really simple. You sign Mike Hughes, you play zone a lot with this team. That's something that's one of your key principles and concepts. I want to see how that works out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Geron Reid is just a fantastic piece to have on your defense. With Chris Jones, like Mo said, I just want to say that real quick. Those 2 players should play very well together. And Geron Reid does a lot of things similar to what Chris Jones does, which move him around, very, very good against the run, very, very good at the point of attack. So that should be interesting. Frank Clark, we got to earn our salary. Sorry, not sorry. With that being said, I want to see how they use this Nick Bolden kid that they drafted in the 2nd round. Are you going to allow him to be what he is, a downhill player? A downhill player, though, in this type of scheme, react finish is what we need from our linebackers. Playing downhill is what he does best. Kansas City, please don't overthink this. You also have Willie Gay Jr., who I think is a fantastic sub-package linebacker in today's NFL. He's going to cover a lot of ground. He's going to do a lot of things. But at the end of the day, Kansas City, you didn't get better on defense. You just got some more intriguing pieces. That is going to be the key. How many people are you going to be able to stop? Again, you still on paper are going to have to do better against the run, as far as I'm concerned. Moving on to the next team. As we continue to build here, we got the Chargers. Now, fellas, I think everybody understands, especially the guys here, they understands how I really, really feel about the actual Chargers. They know I've been in love with this team since we've been talking about the offseason. So we're just going to get right into it. The thing that I like the most here is, first things first, I just really enjoy the fact that they took Rashawn Slater. Let's start there. I love it. I love it. Then we come back with some of those things that we've gotten in the offseason. We got healthier, because that's a big part of this. We brought in Linval Josephs to help us stop the run. That's going to be another key part here as well. We got Chris Harris as well. Derwin James being back in the fold is enough for us to be excited about, because Derwin James, shouts out to Trav, FSU's finest, what a player. The key to the defense, Nwosu. Unshela Nwosu. Is he the guy that can replace the production that you're going to miss that went to Pittsburgh at the outside linebacker position opposite of Mr. Bosa? And Austin Eckler, my guy, can you stay healthy? Offense, let's do this.
Yeah, man. My number one talking point for this offense, Justin Herbert. My pet cat from the last, from the 2020 draft. Even though I had Joe Burrow ranked slightly ahead of him, I thought that this was a special talent, and he proved me right. This kid is just phenomenal, strong arm. I just need to see more consistency with some of his sideline passes, some of his decision making. But other than that, man, I see greatness coming out of this kid. Like Jeremy alluded to, they made some transactions. They made some pickups there for the offensive line. Rashawn Slater in the first round. Great pickup. Definitely your starting left tackle right away. But more importantly, Corey Lindsey, okay, the all-pro center from Green Bay Packers, okay, that they
That's
were able
two
to sign.
times. Real quick, Vic, that's 2 times in the last 3 to 4 years Green Bay has let an all-pro center walk out the building.
Yep. Thank you.
Yes, and they also let right tackle Brian Bulaga. So now they got Bulaga at right tackle from the Packers, and they got the center Corey Lindsey.
Mm-hmm.
So this offensive line should be solidified.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now my questions are for this. Oh, and by the way, Jared Cook, tight end, bring some more vertical speed to that offense. But my question, health and culture. Okay, will this be a better culture, and will this bring more health to this football team? Because that's what they need, especially on the offensive line. That will definitely take them to another level, and definitely challenge KC for that number 1 spot.
And just to build on that, Vic, that defense that they have, when Jerm talked about it a little bit, that defense that they have, look, that defense has got to play a certain way. They got to play a certain style, rush 4, play coverage, mix it up with the secondary. Don't let those corners just play man coverage all day. Here's the biggest things for me for this defense. Number 1, the linebacker spot. Who's going to be that coverage linebacker? We know what Kenneth Murray can do. We also know what Kenneth Murray cannot do. He's not Deion Jones. He's not going to cover like that. So who's going to be that linebacker who can step up and be that third down linebacker who can go on tight ends, who can go on running backs? The second question, how versatile, how creative will they be with their secondary? Again, you do not want this secondary, because you don't have this secondary, to just go line up one-on-one. It's not going to happen. The third question, Asante Samuel Jr. If this young man develops into, I'm not sure where the fella stand on this guy, but where I believe he can excuse my language, develop to, with the guidance of Chris Harris Jr., with the guidance of his pops, Asante Samuel, this defense, as Vic said, this defense will have enough to beat KC. And the same thing, when you talk about these powerhouse teams in conferences, it's usually the division teams that expose them. So the Chargers are in a prime position to make some upsets here in the AFC and possibly change the whole complexion, the whole outlook of the conference.
Well, next team. The Raiders. With that being said, let's go to the transactions.
Yeah, I got a long list here, but I'll try to get through it real quick. Alex Leatherwood, they drafted in the first round, Germ, out of Alabama. We weren't exactly a big fan of this kid. We felt like he's more of a guard, doesn't have a lot of side-to-side mirroring, ability, like a NFL left tackle should. But they did a good job, and they're not going to put him at guard. They're not going to put him at left tackle, but they will put him at right tackle. He is listed as the starting right tackle right now. So we'll see how he develops there. They got a lot on defense, though. They got Yannick Ngakoue, should be able to provide a little bit of help on that very anemic pass rush. You got Corey Littleton, that's going to play the weak side linebacker. And they also drafted Trayvon Morig, free safety out of TCU. This is a very solid deep cover safety. He can play the center field position for you and create some balance with Jonathan Abraham, the strong safety. Let him play the mid-level to end the box as much as possible, and let Morig kind of use his range out there in center field, hopefully improve that defense, because the cornerbacks, they've made some questionable picks there. So offense.
Wait, Vic, did you do the transactions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jerem, keep going. Build on that defense that he talked about, and then I'll do the offense.
Well, this is real simple. The defense, Jonathan Abraham is normally the guy who has to do everything on defense, because I said it last year. They don't got no linebackers. So he's their linebacker and their strong safety.
Yeah.
Well, this year you got some linebackers by committee. So this year we get to see him do some other things, and we get to see him at his prime, at his peak. We should get to see a different and a more fluid player this year, which is something that he needs to be able to do. I'm interested to see what they do with this makeshift defensive line that they have. They got just a bunch of guys that didn't make it on other rosters. Gerald McCoy didn't make it on other rosters for one reason or another. Ngakoue didn't make it on other rosters. Carl Nassib didn't make it on other rosters. Solomon Thomas didn't make it on other rosters. Jonathan Hankins didn't make it on other rosters. Cleveland Farrell and Max Crosby are the two guys that they have here on this defense that are still here from last year. Everybody else that I just named, all are fresh bodies. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Cleveland Farrell can become the left end or the right end that John Gruden drafted him to be. And shouts out to Max Crosby. He's been a pretty solid player for them. He's been a B-plus player for them. And I'm very, very shocked and surprised with him. But let's see what happens there. Denzel Perryman, are you a middle linebacker for this team or no? Let's go to that offense.
Hey, Raiders Nation, I'm going to tell y'all the whole truth and nothing but the truth, okay? The Las Vegas Raiders are going to be an afterthought to me this offseason. You look at this offense, okay, yeah. Brian Edwards, Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow, okay. Darren Waller, absolutely. Offensive line, not bad. Running backs, you got Kenyon Drake, Peyton Barber, and forgot that other kid's name, backing up the beast, the most electrifying running back in sports entertainment today, Josh Jacobs. Okay, who's your quarterback? Huh? Who? Okay. I hope y'all lose games, and I hope you finally come to the clarity. You should have had the 2020 vision in 2020 and gotten rid of Derek Carr, but instead, y'all gonna be looking in the hindsight. Go ahead. I hope y'all lose, because Derek Carr needs to go. And the only way Raiders Nation and John Gruden and his Spider 2Y banana behind is going to figure that out is when this talented roster flops. That's what I think of this damn offense, because they're going to flop.
Okay. Denver transactions.
Yeah, so I got the transactions here for Denver. The biggest news for them was trading for Teddy Bridgewater from Carolina. And it's big news, Jerm, because he beat out Drew Lock, man. He's the starting quarterback now, and it's unfortunate. I was a fan of Drew Lock. I know some of his weaknesses. I know some of his strength. And unfortunately, a lot of his weaknesses outweigh his strength right now, Mo. So it is what it is. I thought that they would give him one more year for strike 3. They didn't even do that. So they gave, Teddy Bridgewater this roster. They also signed Graham Glasnow. Yeah. Okay, to improve. Yep, Glasnow. He's going to improve that offensive line. This is a very young, talented offensive line right now. So he should help them out. They drafted running back Javonte Williams in the second round. This is a big player, because Jeremy and I really like this running back out of North Carolina. This kid is a well-rounded running back. Jeremy and I argued a little bit on if he's at the level of Najee Harris or not. That remains to be seen. I like Najee Harris a little bit more, but this is a very, very talented running back that I think by week 4 should be getting most of the carries. And then Patrick Surtain II. I don't know why they don't call him Junior. They call him the second. All right. So this is a kid that they drafted in the first round out of Alabama. I was half and half with this kid. Very impressive man coverage, but I think he struggles with some of the zone, some of his awareness and stuff like that, and doesn't have elite cornerback speed. Okay, so I'm excited to see what he can do. So far, he's had a good camp, but we'll see. That's the transactions that I have for the Denver Broncos.
Hey man, shout out to everybody in the comment section, yo. If you're not reading the comment section, then you're not laughing. Read the comment section. It is hilarious. Shout out to Tanya, Big Shot Trav, Joe Mava in there, J Ham in there. Shout out to everybody in there. Kelly is in there. Shout out to you, Kelly, Dion Reed, brother Dion. As far as Denver is concerned, right? And I know KG got to be in here somewhere. As far as Denver is concerned, and this offense, you talked about this running back, Vic. I think the more Denver can run the ball, when you look at this offensive line, that's probably better than they've had in years.
Yes.
Probably the best they've had since what 6 years? Easily. You know what I'm saying? You look at this defense that Germ is going to talk about. Look, man, and Germ said it perfectly, and we talked about it a lot about Teddy Bridgewater. I can't even remember who said it, but when it comes to Teddy Bridgewater, he ain't gonna win you too many games, but he ain't gonna lose you too many games either. You know what I'm saying? So they run the ball enough. They play good defense, which German's gonna talk about that defense that they got right this year. Denver again. Denver could be interesting. I'm not saying they're gonna make the playoffs, but with 17 games and 7 seeds to fight for, Denver's going to be one of those teams that is going to be hanging around after Thanksgiving.
Draymond Jones, Von Miller coming back, Bradley Chubb, Mr. Disgusting himself. Those are just some of the names that we got in the front seven. But now let's have a little fun. They drafted a guy by the name of Jamar Johnson from the University of Indiana.
Uh-oh.
I think that player is going to be interesting. Kareem Jackson, you may lose your job. He's the perfect complement to a guy like Jeffrey Simmons that lines up all over the field. You brought in Kyle Fuller, so now Kyle Fuller gets to play man coverage like we talked about in the pre-meeting before the show. Kyle Fuller, man coverage, Virginia Tech, Beamer ball, sounds like a winning formula for me. Then we go down to Bryce Callahan, who is an excellent slot cornerback, does a lot of good things well, especially in the nickel package. Ronald Darby, never been great, always just been solid. You get him as well. Patrick Surtain, the second, Mr. Second himself, he will be the number 4 or number 3 or number 2 on this depth chart by the end of the year. Don't worry about it. But they got corners and safeties galore. KC, knock, 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 knock. Are y'all gonna run the ball more? Are you gonna run the ball, Bird? Because throwing the ball, it may be a no-fly zone in a lot of this division this year. There has been a lot of talk about Denver's secondary among NFL teams to the point where NFL teams all season, off-season, especially the last 5 weeks, have been calling Denver, acquiring about which one of their corners they'd be ready willing to part with. Just so y'all know, that Denver secondary is going to be very intriguing. And if they get the pass rush, I think they can get with these guys.
Big Shot says Teddy Bridgewater, 15 and 22, 140 yards every week. Hey, and a W, Big Shot. And a W.
Hey, you know what's so funny? He don't have to do nothing but kick 4 field goals, and he is going to be in contention. Hey, what the pitchers get, he going to be in the round for a decision.
Yeah, hey, listen, man, I'm hoping for some good things out of Denver.
And
for sure.
Don't forget the kicker. The kicker is one of the big leg kickers.
Yeah,
McManus will knock a
Brandon
55-yard kicker.
Yeah,
a 55-yard dinger down there, and with time expiring, and you be mad. Yeah. And you lost by 1 to Denver.
And remember, at home, he can kick it from about 63, 64.
Well, I guess we got.
I mean, listen, we don't give the special teams love just for the sake of time, but all 4 kickers in this division are pretty impressive.
Yes, they are.
Okay, you got Carlson and Vegas, and you got Bagley, I think it is in the Chargers. I don't know if he's there, but there's a big leg kid.
Yeah,
he had a little bit of accuracy issues, but if he's still the kicker there, this is pretty good special teams over there in this division.
Good point. Excellent point. I agree.
AFC East.
Nobody circles the wagons, baby.
Buffalo transactions. All right, man. They
what are you saying? What are you saying? Hold on. Time out. What is he saying over there, Jerm? What is he saying?
I said nobody circles the wagons. Like the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were talking about KC.
Mío, papi. ¿Qué pasó?
I thought you were talking about KC, but we'll pass. We'll move on.
They got my guy, one of my original guys from the 7-Eleven Club, Mr. Emmanuel Sanders himself. Stephon Diggs was tremendous for them last year. The most intriguing part of this is they really didn't bring in a lot of people when it comes down to this defense, which is interesting because they didn't really need a lot. It's just kind of simple for them. We just want to get better, rush the passer, and do all the small things. They got plenty of depth everywhere when it comes down to this team. Greg Russo from Miami, he is a pass rusher that should give them a lot of room on the interior with his explosiveness on the edges. That is the reason why they drafted him. He gives them a speed guy that complements what they have with Ed Oliver inside. So I look for a lot of times for those two players to be lined up on the same side and for them to really press the outside edges press the outside shoulders of the tackles to get them to going left or right so that somebody can do a stunt around and get around there. And it might likely be Jerry Hughes with a big sack here. With that being said, that's just a little X and O's talk. Just know I've been waiting all day for Wednesday night. It is what it is. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's slide over to the offense.
I mean, Germ, I got to start a little bit with my MVP from the 2020 season.
Oh, we never going to let
quarterback Josh Allen. Okay. I mean, listen, obviously with the signing of Stephon Diggs, I was impressed, okay, by their ability to quickly adapt to each other, to quickly have this continuity. It's kind of late for me. Okay, but I don't know if I pronounced it right.
You did.
Okay, continuity. Okay, so Yeah,
my boy said it's kind of late for me. I'm sorry. I'm a professional. I'm sorry. Good.
Listen, that was impressive for me on film. It was fun to watch. Stephon Diggs, one of the best route runners in the league, if not top 3, was constantly open. And again, Josh Allen was my MVP. I think that his responsibilities on that offense was a lot more significant than the so-called MVP. I'm not going to say his name. This is an offense that doesn't have a running game, Mo. They don't have any balance. And on top of that, Mo, they didn't even improve shit on the offensive line. Excuse my language. So now we're going to go into a new season. We're going to go into a new season with no better beef, no improvement on the beef, okay? Which in turn means your running game is going to suffer, which in turn means your quarterback is going to run the ball even more. Why are we having quarterbacks running the ball more? Why are we praising these mobile quarterbacks still? I don't understand it, because the pocket passers are still winning football games. We're going to get to another pocket passer coming up soon here, okay? We're going to talk about this, okay? I'm ranting right now.
It's cool.
Right? Keep up with me here, okay? What have they done? What have they done, Germ? There is nothing on this offensive line to help my guy Josh Allen get a real MVP this season. I'm gonna let y'all talk now.
Go ahead, Mo. Talk about that defense.
I love Vic, man. Vic, listen. All right, let me get it myself. Whew. All right. So as far as this defense, right? It's real simple, y'all. It's real simple. Look, I'm gonna name this defense. You tell me which name wouldn't start for the other 31 teams in the NFL. Jerry Hughes, Star Lutulele. It's kind of late for me. Ed Oliver, Mario Addison, Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, AJ Klein, maybe that one. Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Levi Wallace, and just for little cherry, AJ Esperanza. Shout out to Vic and Germ for the excellent scouting report on that man there last year. Not one of those guys would not start for 31 other football teams. That's how good this defense is. And that's the only reason why I'm high on Buffalo this year. Okay, not the only reason, but that's a big reason why Buffalo can beat anybody, because of that defense. Match up any which way, blitz, coverage, pressure, stunts, disguises. There's nothing they can't do.
Big Shot said it. Run the dang ball, Bert.
They have to protect your quarterback, man. Protect your quarterback.
Next, we got New England. Oh my God. Let's have fun. I'm getting ready to have fun. I just want y'all to know right now, I have never looked at a team on paper and smiled as much as I did when I watched New England, when I looked at the New England Patriots. I'm gonna tell you why. Because defensively, I'm just gonna name some of their transactions. They brought in Matthew Judon. Now, he's not an A-plus player, but he's a good complementary pass rusher to what you already have on your football team. You brought back Kyle Van Noy, so he gets to come back. You still got McCourty, who's still kicking and screaming. You still got J.C. Jackson. You still got Stephon Gilmore as well, the former defensive player of the year.
Yep.
Now, this is what's interesting. I know I'm not signing up to talk about defense. I know I signed up for the transactions.
Go ahead.
But
I got plenty to say about the defense. So go ahead, bro. Be free.
First of all, how did Christian Barmore get on this team? How like somebody tell me how you give them the best one tech out of a draft that had none.
They had none.
They had, bro, I don't get it. Next, we add that to the fact that Chase Winovich, and whatever his name is a solid player with Dietrich Wise, and then you got Matthew Judon, then you got Barmore, then you add guys like Ronnie Perkins, who has been very, very intriguingly good, and then you got a secondary that matches up with everybody. This looks like a Bill Belichick defense.
Yeah, bro.
And then you still got Dante Hightower. I know I didn't sign up to talk about anything like this.
Okay.
But Mo, go ahead and
bro.
Go ahead.
Bill has revamped this defense. He's got depth in the front seven. He's got his quarterback back in Dante Hightower. Kyle Van Noy is back. And Kyle Van Noy is the perfect outside linebacker for Bill Belichick because he's going to only ask Kyle Van Noy to work within a certain triangle. He's going to take the whole 50 by 100 football field. And he's going to say, Kyle, you can't play this way. I need you to play in this cone right here, and you're going to be phenomenal for me. So they get him back. They get a secondary, J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones, Devin McCourty, Jalen Mills, and of course, number 24, Stephon Gilmore. I didn't even mean to rhyme, but listening to so much Donda lately with that great rapping that I just been rhyming. Anyways, this defense is built with a Bill Belichick blueprint. And the biggest reason for that, all the guys Germ said, absolutely true. 3 guys I got to mention, Germ, because Bill loves beef. Bill loves that 3-3-5 wide. 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers in a 3-4 front. 3 instead of 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. He loves that. So what's he going to do? He's going to put Lawrence Guy. He's going to put Devon Gotcha and Henry Anderson. Both guys that are going to bring you depth, that are going to play fundamentally sound, pushing you defense. New England's defense is going to be something to keep an eye on. And they're going to make things very interesting, not only for Buffalo, but those final 5, 6, 7 seeds in the AFC.
Mm-hmm. So I guess it's my turn.
Go ahead, Vic.
Oh, it's my turn. I was telling folks. Okay, I was talking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was talking about this kid named Michael McCorkle Jones. No, I don't know if you know that's his official government name.
I did not.
Michael McCorkle. Okay, that's his middle name.
Hold up. You telling me from McCorkle, we got Mac?
They got Mac from somewhere around there, bro. Michael McCorkle.
I'm gonna leave that to Sunday. Go ahead, Vic. It's late.
I told folks this is the number 2 quarterback in this draft. Okay. I told folks that the Jets or the 49ers need to draft this kid. Okay, we'll get to that quarterback that went to the New York Jets. Okay, those teams passed up on him. Then we get to number 5. Atlanta passes on this kid. The NFL is now going to come. Okay, wait, let me slow down. North Carolina could have drafted him. The Vikings could have drafted him. We're going to mess around as a league and let this kid fall to New England. Is there some sort of conspiracy here, fellas? Because this ain't right. The EMP system, this leads me to the EMP system, is one of the most sophisticated systems in the league, okay? This is a very, very, it's the type of offense that you need a lot of thinking, a lot of studying, and they got the quarterback to do it. Not only he comes from a EMP version in college, but you put him in the most efficient using EMP offense in New England, which then leads me to the reason why he's starting right now, Mr. McCorkle. Cam Newton was just not a fit for that offensive scheme, period. He is not only not a fit for that offense, he is no longer a top 32 quarterback. I told folks by week 2, McCorkle will be starting. I guess I was 1 week too late, because now he's been, not only he is named the starter for this offense, for this franchise, there's nobody else on the roster, Mo. Why they let everybody else go? What is happening? I don't see anybody else on the roster. I guess what's his face is gone. Hoyer. And even the other one is gone. I don't know. I don't see nobody else on the roster, Jerm, correct me. But Mac Jones, okay, should not be in New England right now, but he is. And now you got yourself, the NFL got themselves another problem for another good 15 years. That's all I got left to say. I don't want to be there forever, because I could be here forever.
I mean, listen.
We're gonna have some film studies on this kid. I can't wait for the film to come out, because what this kid what he's been able to do in preseason. All right, they've already given him some EMP assignments, Mo, and he's executed them like nothing.
Yeah, I hear you. We there's a lot we're gonna talk about with oh man. There's a lot we can get to with this team with New England with Mac Jones. And we're going to have plenty of time to talk about them, particularly this first month of football. Why? Because the Patriots will be playing Tom Brady in a couple of weeks. So we're going to get to that. I see. Yeah, Joe's on you right now. As for the Miami Dolphins, just keep it real simple for Miami. No real major things. They traded Eric Flowers. That's not a big deal. They signed Jason McCourty. Okay. I think they signed DJ Fluker as well. The biggest thing for them was that in the draft, they got Jalen Waddle in the first round. They drafted Jalen Phillips out of Miami in the first round as well. Pick 18th overall. Kid is 6'5", 266 pounds. And I'm sure Vic, when he gets into the defense, might touch on him, and Jeremy's going to touch on Jalen Waddle. But I know everybody wants to hear about what the Dolphins are going to look like with that quarterback. So we will start right there with you, Jerm, with the Dolphins offense.
So we're not no slander till the football. At the end of the day, it's just really this simple. This team is built for Tua to be successful. We got our deep threat in Will Fuller. We got our ex-receiver in Devontae Parker. We got our guys that can work the middle of the field and the slot with Jakeem Grant, Albert Wilson, and Jalen Waddle. And Jalen Waddle is there to do this: run in motion and help Tua identify what is going on the field. That's what he's there to do. He's not there to do anything else but that. He is, as the Maury Povich people will say, the sexy decoy on that offense. He's the guy that's going to be the gadget. He is the toy, the talented offensive young player, as I've coined that term a couple of years ago. He is that guy. He shall be probably a guy on special teams that'll be a big part too. Tua, you have everything you had at Alabama now in the form of the NFL now. You have a reliable running game. You have everything else. Your offensive line should be improving, everything like that. This is going to be your time for you to figure it all out. I'm not going to slander. I have nothing to say. I want to see you do what you're supposed to do, because this Dolphins organization should be right where they should be in the playoffs this year. Y'all have the roster. Y'all have the better team right now between you and New England, because you guys have the better talent offensively. Defensively, New England has an edge, but Miami is right there with them, because there's a lot of talent there as we transition this defense, Vic. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, we got another of Bill Belichick / Bill Parcells disciples here, with Brian Flores bringing in that 3-3-5 defense. It's obviously between the Titans and the Dolphins, it's arguable, who has the most talented roster on defense. Of course, I'll give the edge to the Dolphins with that secondary, who should deploy a lot of a lot of nickel, DBs and stuff on the field constantly. They got the two great corners and Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, but they also brought in Jason McCourty to play the free safety, and he's gonna bring some good balance, some good depth to that defense, and definitely man that deep coverage corner, which they can, that deep coverage, which they can play a lot of single high with this secondary, and provide some more help, in the front seven. So, this defense should be solid. It's going to be Mr. McCorkle's first biggest challenge immediately as he starts this season. So I'm excited to watch that game. Definitely upcoming in week 1. Other than that, I don't think I'm missing anything else. Germ, real quick, something that we'll talk about in the future. Those 3 first-round picks that they had back in 2020. You got Tua, you got Austin Jackson, and you got the cornerback, which I will not try to attempt his name right now, but his name is Noah. Okay, Mosif. This is easily possible that all 3 of those kids struggle with their careers going forward, and that's going to be a big issue for Miami's future if Tua doesn't become the quarterback that they were looking for, and if Austin Jackson cannot be the left tackle that they're hoping for, in the future.
That cornerback in question is Noah Igbenegene out of Auburn.
Wow. Okay.
Jared, Vic, my ancestors and like Africa are like right there, so it's a little native for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, tough name, but hopefully he can become a tougher player.
Look at Jared's face. Come on. Let's keep it going. We're going to the champs next, baby.
Jets. Jets. Let's go.
Oh, I forgot about the Jets.
Yeah,
it's really about the Jets.
I mean, it's really simple.
No, but you know what? It's fine. Go ahead.
Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore. I like the stuff that they picked up. Corey Davis to go along with all of the great receivers that they have. They brought in Connor McGovern from Denver. They brought in some free agent guys like George Fant, Morgan Moses. They brought in guys that are comparable, that can do the job on the offensive line. Brought in Tevin Coleman as well. And then also Michael Carter from North Carolina as well. I'm looking forward to those things. Check this out. As much as it's bad that they lost certain players, they did bring in LaMarcus Joyner to pair with Marcus May. Mm-hmm. That should be interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm here to see what that brings. Bryce Hall now is on this roster as well. And I just look forward to seeing how they want to use and deploy this secondary moving forward. CJ Mosley, it's time for you to step in and do your thing. And they still got one of the better players in the league now with a young and developing Quentin Williams. And believe it or not, y'all, they also brought in Sheldon Rankings. So that should be interesting. Shaq Lawson is also on this team as well from Houston to fill in the place for the injured Carl Lawson, who they'll get back next year. But they have some pieces here that should be very, very interesting. Let's go to the offense.
Yeah, I mean, this should be an interesting division, guys. Starting again with the quarterback situation. Zach Wilson, who is viewed #1 player on our draft board for the 2021 draft. Okay, our #1 quarterback, #1 player overall. So far in camp has looked incredible as well. You got Sunshine out there in Jacksonville, who they keep saying is a generational talent. I would have passed. Okay, but we'll see. He had a solid camp towards the end, where he went up against the Dallas third-string defense. But we'll see. He has some good throws there, Mo. Some accurate throws, some touch on some of his passes. So we'll see. I think that at the end of the day, he will become, his peak will be a mid-tier quarterback in this league. That is my prediction, while Zach Wilson and Mac Jones kind of reach that elite level. But another player I'm looking forward to studying and watching the film in the NFL with Zach Wilson. And then, of course, Corey Davis. Okay, you guys know how much I defend that player. I think he found himself a quarterback that can finally execute some throws on the sideline. So if Zach Wilson is able to find some consistency at the NFL level that he showed in college throwing to the sideline, he got himself a receiver that can get open out there in the sideline, which is very hard to do. Okay. They also got Elijah Moore, who German, I think it was the best slot receiver in this draft. I mean, this kid does not drop a pass. His routes are crisp. His quickness is incredible. His speed is incredible. I don't know how he fell to the second round, but we'll see how his career turns out. And then they drafted in the first round Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC. They're doing a good job by moving him to guard. Not only they're moving him to guard, they're moving him right next to Mekhi Becton, their last year's first round pick, who has been a little inconsistent. There's some weight, questions coming into camp. But if those two kids work out and they become the players that their potential shows, that's going to be an outstanding left side. All right. So I feel bad for Sam Bradford, did not get this roster, kind of like what Mo was alluding to with the Colts. But Zach Wilson is still a better quarterback.
Oh, you mean Sam Darnold?
I'm sorry, Sam Darnold.
Oh my God. I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay. No, listen. All great points, Vic, especially about Zach Wilson and the guys
they talk about a Marvel character.
Who did I say? Yeah, it's too late, dog. It's late, dog. It really.
Yo, Jerem talked about everything with this Jets defense. The only thing I'm gonna add to that is that Robert Salah is there now, and I think he is gonna know how to use all those pieces properly. And I think above all, good for the Jets that there's finally some positive football energy coming out of there. So good for them. Look forward to seeing what they do this year. Now we move to the champs.
Well, I mean, it's kind of
not
one
much
of
to say here either.
I mean, you just bring back all 32 and just add, Giovanni Bernard. You bring in another versatile pass rusher and Joe Tryon. I mean, you bring in Kyle Trask. I mean, you just be consistent. That's all you do. I mean, who's next?
Listen, as far as this offense is concerned, it's real simple. Another year for Brady. Offense is healthier. Guys are a better condition. There's more continuity there, as Vic likes to say it. I'm trying to temper expectations here, boys, but I think this offense should be historic. When you set the bar so high for greatness, mediocrity is unacceptable. I think Tampa Bay has everything lined up to be historic this year.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, defensively, again, they brought everybody back. They did a great job signing everybody, fitting them in the cap, both offensively and defensively. The linebackers, the versatility on that linebacker core is incredible. They play a lot of 3-4 that you will see. They do play some 4-down linemen, but they will play a lot of 3-4. Levante David and Devin White in the middle. I mean, an incredible combination. But like Jeremy alluded to, Joe Tryon. Okay, this is a kid that we did see a couple years back. He did take off 2020 season for COVID reasons, but he did put himself available for the draft. And Tampa Bay must have seen what we see now in him, because we didn't get to study him, to take him in the first round. But that kid has been incredible in camp. And that makes it even scarier that now this defense might have an even more consistent pure pass rush, all right? Because they had to kind of generate pass rush with stunts, with a lot of movements and stuff like that. But now they have a kid that you can add with Shaquille Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul to be able to rush the passer, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the rest of the league.
All right. I mean, it's really simple, man. Nothing really much else to say about the Bucs. Now to New Orleans.
Yeah, so real quick, of course, one of the biggest storylines of this year was Drew Brees retiring, and now Jameis Winston, who the views and the rest of the culture, shout out to everybody in the culture, have been shouting out for Jameis to start. Tom Brady had to go over to Tampa Bay, take his spot. It is what it is. He's the better quarterback. It's just how it is. But we think Jameis is still a top 32 player at this position. Yes, he had a lot of turnovers, and yes, he needed his vision corrected. But apparently he did that, and he's looking really good in camp. Okay, Jameis Winston, thank God he's starting. I got nothing else for this for the transactions.
Offensively, man, we just gonna call it what it is. This offensive line is probably one of the best in the business. They have everything that you could possibly want. Right tackle, all pro candidate, and Ryan Ramczyk, young player, very, very good. Of course, Teron Armstead has been a model of consistency through his entire career. Eric McCoy has been great since he stepped on the field. And Andres Pete, as much as people don't want to say it, he's been solid since they moved him to left guard. Look out for Cesar Ruiz, the former first-round pick for this team. He is phenomenal, and he was a center for Michigan. Now he gets to play right guard next to Ryan Ramczyk, another solid player. I love this. I'm in love with this offensive line. You still got Alvin Kamara, the Joker himself. Yes, I call him the Joker because he's a trump card. As long as you got this guy on the field, he changes everything. It makes it hard to play zone because he just picks apart the zone. But most importantly, the thing that he brings to the table that people don't want to talk about is he is a nightmare to tackle. Nightmare. So with that being said, Jameis, take your check downs. We don't have to push the ball down the field. This is not the team to push it down the field. This is a team that should be methodical. The more methodical they are and in the way that they attack people, the further they'll go down the line in the season. That's simple for offense.
I think for the defense is quite as simple as well, Germ. I mean, you still got Cam Jordan there. You got Marshall Lattimore there, Malcolm Jenkins, Marcus Williams. All those guys are coming back. Marcus Davenport, Juan Alexander, Demario Davis. Can't forget those guys at all. Yes, they did lose some pieces, but I think defensively, when you look at it, they were top 5 in points allowed, top 5 in yards allowed. Their biggest problem was red zone. Once guys got into the red zone, they scored pretty easily on them and pretty consistently. Can they improve on that? Hopefully. They do have better depth maybe this time around. And I think they understand that they have more pressure on them this year. But for this defense, similar to Baltimore, boom or bust. And when it gets later in the season and they play these explosive teams and they play these younger teams, how are they going to keep up? That's my question with New Orleans. As
Carolina.
Far as okay, go ahead.
No, Atlanta, go ahead.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool either way.
My bad.
Either way. Look, for Atlanta, as far as the transactions are concerned, the only thing worth talking about is Kyle Pitts. Okay, clearly Atlanta felt like, I mean, they didn't do much else to improve their team, so it would explain why they drafted a weapon to improve their offense immediately and for the future. With Kyle Pitts, he's a phenomenal talent. Definitely the best tight end coming out of this draft. He is going to improve this team, no question. But I'm not going to go crazy over Deron Harmon or Cordero Patterson. So I don't really have much here, Jerm, because I just don't think they did anything really to improve their football team.
Well, here's the thing, Mo. It's not even about that. The thing for this team is run the ball, Bert. Run the dang ball, Bert. Because you have the weapons with Calvin Ridley, who's an outstanding route runner. Russell Gage, outstanding route runner. You got those guys there. You just need to figure out what you want to do with your actual offensive line. If we run the ball, that'll be enough for us to get where we need to get to. The problem here is the red zone. Atlanta's issue is the red zone because that's where Matt Ryan struggles the most. We're talking about only 2 quarterbacks last year completed over 400 passes. Matt Ryan, Tom Brady. There's a reason for that. Matt Ryan has had some seasons where he's completed 420 some passes in a season, and that tells you that he's making a lot of the throws. It's just he's also throwing it to the other team, and he's also throwing the ball in the dirt, and he's also throwing the ball, and it's now nowhere near the receivers. He's also throwing the ball and it's not doing much for them when it comes and pertains to them winning. Just is what it is. This team needs to run the ball more. Kyle Pitts is your best receiver on your team. Why is this a good thing? Because if your tight end is the best receiving threat that you have, it opens up your entire offense. And now, since you have smaller receivers that are more inept to use their quickness, that is going to help them out a lot. So, Vic, let's go to the defense.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, not much to talk about. We got Deion Jones and Grady Jarrett, the two leaders of that defense and that front seven. Speed. Grady Jarrett, a tremendous interior pass rusher. Aaron Donald gets a lot of the credit as an interior pass rusher, but Grady Jarrett is one of those consistent guys that's always making plays as well. They brought in free safety DeJuan Harmon to kind of help, alleviate some of the losses. They lost DeMonte Kazi and Keanu Neal to the Dallas Cowboys. So DeJuan Harmon is going to kind of play more of that center field for them and help out those young cornerbacks, man. They got Isaiah Oliver and they got AJ Terrell who they drafted the last 2 seasons. We got to see if those kids are going to be able to step up because, again, if they can't find consistency on defense and they constantly get beat, this is going to be another situation where you're going to see Matt Ryan throwing a lot of footballs offensively because this defense can give up a lot of points again.
Carolina.
Yeah, so I got the transactions for Carolina. Real quick, they signed Hassan Reddick from the Cardinals, edge rusher. In the cornerback, they got the first round pick, J.C. Horn, cornerback. Tremendous talent. This is one of the top guys that German and I liked. I think we had him in the top 10 in terms of overall rankings. But in the second round, Terrence Marshall Jr., LSU wide receiver, incredible talent. So far, they said that he's already winning the third receiving position in camp. Okay, so that's a kid to definitely look out for in the future. Of course, he was overlooked by all the LSU talent, Justin Jefferson, Odell Landry, like Jim likes to call him, Jamar Chase. But Terrence Marshall is a great talent that we, should be looking forward to in the future.
Offensively, man, it's really simple. Sam Darnold. Will the real Sam Darnold please stand up?
Please.
You got Robbie Anderson. You got Terrence Marshall. You got DJ Moore. Now, your offensive line, you do got Cameron Irvin coming over here trying to play left tackle, which that doesn't help anybody. But we'll leave that alone. We'll save that for another day. You got beef here. Brady Christensen that played with Zach Wilson, who played a very, very interesting season last year. He's a guy I think that should be competing for that left tackle spot. Deontay Brown from Grambling State. I just want to tell y'all this now. One of the best players that I scouted in this class that went under the radar. Don't know how he didn't get drafted after seeing some of these other kids get drafted, but he's a tremendous talent. Run the ball. Christian McCaffrey and as much as Royce Freeman and Chuba Hubbard, run the ball and set up your play action with these weapons that you have, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, as far as Carolina and their defense, I mean, again, same with Buffalo, like how I mentioned all these different names. Same here with Carolina, man. I can give you names. The problem with these names is they're not that known. Why? Because most of them were taken last year. Excuse me. They got a lot of youth on this defense, but then they got sprinkled here and there a little veteran leadership. And Daquan Jones, who they just brought in, and Shaq Thompson, who's becoming that mature leader now. And also they just brought in Hassan Reddick. So you combine those things with they got explosiveness on the inside, speed on the edge, solid linebackers, and defense. You just got some guys who are long and quick in that secondary. And that's a recipe for some good things to happen. So once they get AJ Bouye back, at least they'll have a little more veteran leadership back there as well. So I think when you look at this defense for Carolina, there's got like 4 to 5 veterans and then like 13 just young lions ready to pounce. including Brian Burns and Derek Brown. Brian Burns and Derek Brown are phenomenal players. Phenomenal players. So this Panthers defense is going to be very, very exciting to watch. And I guarantee you they're going to beat some teams they shouldn't really be beaten because of that defense. We'll move on to Green Bay next.
NFC North.
So as far as Green Bay is concerned, right, you look at their draft, not much to say there. Eric Stokes, 29th overall, cornerback out of Georgia. Okay, not bad. Whatever sort of thing. We'll see how he works out. Josh Myers, guard / center out of Ohio State. Big kid, strong kid. Okay, we'll see how he does. Never a bad idea, really, to take beef. As far as what they did do transaction-wise, free agency-wise, they didn't really bring in anybody significant outside of Dennis Kelly, right tackle. He should get some snaps. He might provide some valuable depth. He might even start. Who knows? And Devondre Campbell, linebacker from the Falcons. Again, not a bad guy to have on your football team. Jair Alexander, star cornerback, picked up his 5th-year option. They re-signed Aaron Jones. They re-signed Kevin King as insurance, folks. They signed Blake Bortles. Fellas?
Want to go, Jerm? Do you want me to start it off?
Me. Oh, so the thing with the defense of this team is it really all starts with the players that they are continuing to let go. It's so many players around the league that have been Packers on both sides of the ball that are good players that I'm shocked that they just keep finding talent, unfortunately. And we keep on hearing the same thing every year that they don't have no good players. So with that being said, Preston Smith, we got Zadarius Smith, those guys, the Smith brothers is what they call them. Those guys are still there. Kenny Clark, we got to be consistent, bro. That's what we got to get. We got to be consistent. Kenny Clark, we got to be consistent. We got to be healthy. What are we going to do with Rashawn Gary? Is he going to play the 3-tech or are you going to keep having to play outside linebacker?
Oh.
I'm just asking for a friend. Jair, y'all wasted his time. Adrian Amos is a very intriguing prospect because he does so much on the field, but yet and still, you can't use him like the chess piece that he is because we got too many other things going on. Defense has some good players. Problem is they're not elite, and that's probably going to be the big thing. We keep letting players go because we're paying certain people too much money, and that's what we get here, and we're just going to go, and if you can't say anything nice, don't say nothing at all. So, Mr. Junior, go ahead.
Well, I ain't
MVP.
gonna say nothing nice. You know, you shut your mouth over there. I'm talking now, sir. Thank you.
2020 MVP.
Mr. Not My MVP. I'm just gonna start off with questions with this offense. Will the relationship with the quarterback and the head coach be better? I don't think it is. They're trying to portray it is here in the preseason, but we'll see. The offensive line is not as good as they were last year. They lost a couple of key pieces there. Like we talked about earlier, Corey Lindsey, the center, the outstanding center, is now gone. They have a rookie, Josh Myers, who is a good player, starting now. And also Royce Newman will be their guard. So they're starting guard. So, I got some questions about that offensive line. Of course, they did a good job scheming for Aaron Rodgers, scheming for Devontae Adams, kind of getting the ball out early, and, of course, revolving around that running game. So we'll see. I expect regression out of this football team, but we will see what happens with this Green Bay offense.
All right, Vikings. Let's go move on to the Vikings and their transactions.
All right. Listen, man, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to cover this with a smile because, sometimes you got to smile when things are going crazy. So first thing we did was we came in the first round and we drafted Christian Darrisaw. Let me tell you something. That's how you're supposed to draft. From this point forward, that's how you draft. Then we came back and we later in the draft and we got Wyatt Davis. From now on, that's how you draft. That's what you're supposed to do. Then after you did that, right, we bring in guys like Dalvin Tomlinson, who are great run stuffers. And guess what you've been struggling with? Stopping the run. Who go figure? That's what you do. Okay, that's how you draft in. That's how you be a free agent. That's how you go in free agency. That's how you be a GM. Oh, by the way, COVID protocol last year kept Michael Pierce out of the fold. He's back. That's another guy. 3 tech, playing next to Dalvin. That should be interesting. Oh, by the way, Sheldon Richardson that left and went to Cleveland a couple of years ago. He just signed a free agent deal. He's coming back. Everson Griffin, remember him? He was on his. He's coming back too. So now, in my greatest Toy Story voice, the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. That defense is right where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Bring in Pat Pete. That means we're going to be playing a little bit more man coverage. Now, here's the only problem with us playing man coverage. Why we bring in Rashad Breeland? The world may never know. But you know what? We're going to try it. We're going to see what they're going to put together. Harrison Smith just signed his extension. He much deserved it. Xavier Woods. Can Xavier Woods be the piece that Anthony Harris was to Harrison Smith? That is going to be the biggest key for this team that has Eric Kendrick and Anthony Barr, one of the best 1-2 linebacker combos that we got in the league to go along with the cyborg, Danielle Hunter.
Look, I mean, you touched it so perfectly on that defense. You named all the guys that you needed to mention. Danielle Hunter is indeed a cyborg. That those linebackers are the keys to it all. We know that this defense, as long as they're disciplined and they're creative, they'll be able to create some turnovers. I think what you'll see with this, I expect a much, much better performance from this Minnesota Vikings defense this year with more depth, more speed, a little more youth, and a little more veteran leadership as well. A pretty good offseason here in Minnesota, and I know Vic is going to tie it all in with their offense.
Yeah, so I mean, real quick, the first question I have, Kirk Cousins, quarterback Kirk Cousins, will he find more consistency? Because, I mean, you look at the rest of this roster, that running back tandem, okay, outstanding talent. You got speed, you got strength, you got power there with Alexander Madison, providing that power. But this offensive line is talented, okay? They got right tackle Brian O'Neill, and they got left guard Ezra Cleveland, all right? Now, these guys, not the strongest offensive linemen you will find,
Agile.
but they have, what was that again?
Agile.
Very agile, yes. Very side to side, good speed side to side. Will give them a lot of that, a lot of the tosses that they like to play, a lot of the outside zone running scheme. Okay, that is very important for that speed with Dalvin Cook. So I'm looking forward to watching those guys on film because again, like Jerm alluded to, Christian Darrisaw will now play the left tackle for them. I don't know if he will start yet, Jerm, but I expect him to start really soon. But again, that outside zone should be fun to watch because it's beautiful watching this offensive line block. The loss of Irv Smith, it's not going to be the biggest, loss of the season. But this is a kid that I was looking forward to, for his development as well. But sadly, he will be out for the season.
Yeah. You got Chicago transactions, Vic?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, they lost Kyle Fuller on defense. I don't have anything else defensively. I don't know, who got the defense will allude to anything there. Yeah. But the biggest draft pick, the biggest transaction for them is the first round pick quarterback Justin Fields. This is a guy that, big. He came from a big school, Ohio State. The question will be with him, does he find consistency as well? Again, the quarterback position is about consistency. There's times where you see him make some good quality throws, mid, to deep levels. He is a smart quarterback. You do see him at times scanning the field, but other than that, there is times where there's some mistakes, there's some accuracy issues. I have him ranked as the 4th quarterback in this draft in terms of what I expect out of them, when it comes to the top 32. So we'll see how that turns out.
Offensively, man, it's really simple. Justin Fields may be the best option for you because he's going to push the ball down the field. You got guys like Marquise Goodwin. You got to push the ball down the field. Brashad Perriman, you got to push the ball down the field. But the biggest thing is you got the ultimate pro in himself, Allen Robinson. All he does is just simply get open. He's not fast. He's just solid. He's just a great player and great at doing what he does. Moving forward, just to make it real simple, get the ball to Allen Robinson. What they say in Love and Basketball, when the coach came over there and Monica went over there to the girl and said, well, what did coach say? He said to give the ball to you. Mm-hmm. Allen, you are on that Monica plan. Give the ball to you.
Oh man. Listen, as far as Chicago is concerned in that defense, you still got Hicks, you still got Goldman, you still got Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, you got Ogletree over there, the almighty Quinn. It's really gonna come down to how does that secondary perform? Because this front seven is gonna be there. This front seven is gonna make you plays. This front seven is gonna make it hard to run the ball on them. How is that secondary gonna perform? What scheme are gonna deploy? Are they gonna go man? Are they gonna go? What exactly are they gonna do? And is it gonna work? Because you got to give this rookie a chance to at least be competitive for 4 quarters, week after week after week. And I think that front seven will give you that chance. But will the defense with the corners, at the very least, be able to not have quarterbacks take the top off every week? Moving on to the Detroit Lions. As far as the Detroit Lions are concerned, look, not much to say here. Nothing excites me. Such a boring team. I'm sorry. And now to make it even worse, they got Jared Goff. Listen, son, the Detroit Lions are the reason Sunday Ticket was invented. And I'm going to leave it at that. Go ahead, yo.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, since you talked about it, Jared Goff traded for Matt Stafford. I got low expectations as well. Now you went from a quarterback that's kind of inconsistent to a quarterback that's more inconsistent, with more accuracy, more limited, more accuracy issues, and just can't get the ball deep, So he might threaten short, he might threaten intermediate, but there's just so much inconsistencies there. His pocket awareness is borderline low level when it comes to the professional level. It's tough to see what they're going to be able to do. They're just going to have to run the damn ball, okay? Because they got 2 outstanding tackles now. Taylor Decker, who is coming back. Obviously, they signed to an extension, and Penny Sewell, who they drafted in the first round. So now they got 2 good, tackles to work with, along with, a pretty impressive interior guard and center. So, they're just gonna have to work with that offensive line and kind of get the ball rolling through the running backs.
Defensively, yeah. Well. Is Matt Patricia still there? Oh, never mind. I don't really know what to say. I mean, Jeffrey Okudah, are you good or no? We're gonna see. You got a lot of players here that just probably don't fit. Defensively, Trey Flowers, I don't know what you were doing, but hey, that's where you want to go. Hey, that's your business. That's your business. Michael Brockers, that's your business. I don't know what to do. I really don't have much to say. Detroit, I hope Cade Cunningham in basketball does a great job this season. I hope Martin buys some tickets to some of y'all games. To be honest with you, he probably is going to sell some Detroit Lions tickets on What's Up Radio. So with that being said, go Pistons.
Moving on to Seattle, Jerm, you got the transactions here, brother.
We got the Seattle Seahawks. With the supposed best quarterback in the world. Well, we're going to talk about it, though. We're going to talk about it. So first and foremost, man, Seattle. I know we run a West Coast. I know that we probably don't need to put a lot of a lot of capital into offensive linemen because of Russ's mobility. I understand. I understand that we want to get him hit as much as possible. I understand. But you do realize if he can't stand, then your chance of you staying in the playoff race are pretty much, they don't stand a chance. But we're just using stand in this whole thing, because that's the only thing we're going to do. I don't understand what y'all trying to do here. Y'all, you re-signed Jamal. I thought that was a kind of situation where you needed to get that done. You traded 2 first-round picks for him, and then you tried to play possum. You almost messed that up there, Pete. Pete, fix it. And then you're just wasting talent a little bit here now. Bobby, it's not, if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Yeah. Seattle, it is all about the quarterback and if you keep him healthy. Otherwise, we get to see little Tyler Lockett do the moonwalk and DK Metcalf strong arm people.
As far as the defense, Vic, before you go on the offense real quick, as far as the defense, Jeremy, I'm with you. Like, it's hard to really figure out what Seattle is going to be defensively. And it's a shame because it's not because of a lack of talent. It's just, do these players fit with each other? And if they do, how do they fit? So I still think it's going to be a bit of a process here. But, they might come out and surprise me. But the first thing I am going to look at is what philosophy, what scheme, what approach is Seattle going to take week in and week out? And how is that front four going to perform? Because if that front four doesn't perform, Pete can't do anything else that Pete wants to do. Go ahead, Vic.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, man, y'all know how I feel about Russell Wilson. He started off the season extremely well, but towards the end, there was regression, and it so happens that the offensive line started well and started regressing at the end of the season as well. So I think there's a correlation there. They didn't do anything to help this offensive line. So now, not only I got beef with the Buffalo Bills about that, Germ, mind your business. I got beef with the Buffalo Bills about not helping their offensive line, but now Seattle, we're going to just have another repeat of seeing Russ run around, this time at age 33, which is not ideal. Okay, he doesn't have the same quickness that he had, and you could tell that his body is taking a little bit of a pounding. So I have lower expectations for this football team. I think Russ will put on a show again. They got some speed with tight end Gerald Everett, to help out the speed, to complement the speed of the outside receivers. But other than that, I got low expectations for this team, man.
Yeah, I hear you. As far as expectations are concerned, let us go to their division rivals in the San Francisco 49ers, okay? Let's get to their transactions here. First of all, they drafted Trey Lance in the first round, quarterback. Okay, whatever, right? We got enough to say about that. We'll leave that to the future. They also got Trey Sermon, running back, in the third round. Good value there, good upside there. We'll see what that player can do for that offense and the dynamics that he can bring to that offense. Here's some of the important ones. They re-signed Fred Warner. They got to keep Fred Warner, big one. They made sure to let their tackle, Mike McGlinchey, know, hey, man, we're going to invest in you. They signed guard Senio Clemente. If you remember, he's played in different spots, but he's been very, very, very productive, and that is a valuable piece to add to your offense. And under the radar here a little bit, but they signed Clinton Dix. And to me, look, man, is, again, he's going to start, he's going to play, he's going to produce. But here's the most underrated signing to me, and I can't believe this is going to be coming out of my mouth, and that is Josh Norman. Because when you put it all together, it's like, yo, he fits. He can do good things. Go ahead, fellas.
Listen, defense. And we talk about the defense, Pete. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Jimmy Ward, Eric Armstead, and the habitual line stepper, Mr. D Ford, no relation to the Ford company that drives the cars. We got to figure this out because that's going to be the thing. Those are the players that matter the most at the end of the day. The secondary is so wishy-washy. I just don't know why every year we're in the same spot with the secondary. We bring in one player, Jason Verrett, and we think he's going to be the key to fixing it. Well, Jason Verrett does a lot of things that Jimmy Ward does. You line them up in different places, you move them around. You know what I'm saying? They play that joker role. That in football terms, they play the hero or the star role. So it's like I don't know what you're gonna do with your secondary. If the front doesn't get pressure, it just throws off everything that you already do. Pressure is the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Stand up, look alive, look alive. Yuck.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Vic, go ahead on this
Yeah,
offense.
I mean, offensively, quarterback situation is obviously the biggest storyline there. Everybody's already calling for Jimmy's job, which is understandable. A lot of inconsistencies there. I mean, this is a guy that I'm a big fan of. Some of the throws that he's able to make mid to short levels, intermediate to short levels, to me are incredible. But again, he has to find consistency and he has to find a way to stay healthy for this football team. I think the kid has passion. Some of the injuries that he had is him getting out of the pocket and trying to create plays, which again, stay in the pocket, please. Okay. But Trey Lance, Germ and I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm not a big fan personally. If anything, he's 2 to 3 years away. But he will get pushed to start, if not by mid-season, if not by 2021, 2022, but this season. And that's going to be interesting to see. Other than that, man, there's not much else to really talk about with this offense in terms of transactions and stuff like that. But bringing back Trent Williams to go on with, Mike McGlinchey, who is their right tackle, some tremendous bookend tackles as well there. So I expect them to run the ball more with Raheem must start, and Trey Sermon definitely, providing a lot of rushing yards for that offense.
Hey, go ahead, Germ.
The Rams.
Yeah, Vic, you got the Rams transactions.
Yeah,
bro.
so the transactions, I mean, we talked about it earlier. Jared Goff was traded for Matt Stafford. Again, consistency. This is a very talented arm, one of the most talented arms we have in this league right now, at all levels of the football field. But I think that with this Sean McVay offense, I think, the sky's the limit for Matt Stafford. Will he be consistent again, getting the balls to the outside, reading the defense? He has the receivers and he has the offensive line to do it. And, real quick, Sony Michel was somebody they traded for. But the key losses that I got, John Johnson, free safety, and quarterback Troy Hill. Will it take some hits on this defense?
Yeah. Look, as far as this, go ahead, Germ. Go ahead, Germ.
To me, it feels like Jalen and Aaron and the Jackson 5 on defense. A lot of speed and a lot of meaningless speed here, because it's not like it's speed that's getting them anywhere. I mean, you can be fast, but they don't tackle as well as they could. That's number one. Number two, Taylor Rapp is probably not going to be the player that you need him to be. But most importantly, by letting John Johnson walk out of the door, by letting Troy Hill walk out of the door, it just kind of feels like they kind of lost the advantage that they had every Sunday. Like, it feels like everybody had a place with those two players there, because now we just needed to find another guy to replace our guy, LaMarcus Joyner, who plays center field for them, because John came down and covered a lot of the tight ends. So it's very intriguing that you got rid of in 2 straight off seasons the starting secondary, for the most part, that you had that got you to a Super Bowl. Yeah, you brought in Jalen Ramsey, but has Jalen Ramsey ever been to a Super Bowl?
Look, I think for the Rams, yes, that defense is important. I need that defense to play well, because Big Shot put it out there. He predicts the Rams are going to be in the Super Bowl. Look here. I need that defense to do its thing, because not only do I want to agree with Big Shot, my prediction is that Matt Stafford should be the MVP of this regular season.
Jesus.
Arizona, Vic, what you got on Arizona?
Yeah, real quick.
We almost there. We almost there, guys. We got 5 teams. We're gonna try to knock it out in 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, real quick. They made some key acquisitions here. There's not many, but Rodney Hudson to be the anchor of that offensive line at center is a tremendous steal. I don't know why Vegas let him go, but now he is in Arizona. This is a big signing for Kyler Murray. This is a big signing for that rest of that offense. And then J.J. Watt, defensive lineman. We know what that guy is. He's probably not the same guy that he was a couple years ago, but still a very quality defensive lineman. So they shored up some beef like we've been asking them to do. So go ahead, guys. Offense.
Hey, look, man. Look, Kyler Murray is in a situation where, you got a situation on your hands where you have the best receiver in football. DeAndre Hopkins is right now the best receiver in football. Only person who can make a shot or a run at that is who? Mr. AB himself. But we'll talk about that another day, another time. AJ Green, shouts out to him. I know all the good players go to Arizona to retire, so go ahead, get you some yards and retire. Kyler Murray should have an MVP caliber here. This is the toughest division in football because every team in this division should be able to make the playoffs at the end of the year. But we know it's impossible for that to happen. It's going to be a tight race. I don't expect any team in this division to win more than 11 games. I'm going to be honest with you. This Arizona team should be in the playoffs. They may be better than every team but the Rams.
I don't think this team gets to 10 wins, Germ. That's how I feel about it. J.J. Watt, look, I love J.J. Watt, but he is not nearly the player he once was. Chandler Jones might be gone by week 5, okay? Then what do you leave to? Budda Baker and them? I'm not trusting it. I'm sorry. I think Arizona is in for a 9-8 win season. Again, Cliff Kingsbury, I like him. I got respect for him. He needs somebody in there to teach Kyler Murray how to play the position the right way. And again, I don't ever want to take food off of anybody's table, but Steve Keim has been there since God knows when, and he ain't done a damn thing since 2008. It's been 13 years, Chief. Come on now. Arizona, get with the modern day football. You got a modern day quarterback, get modern day guys in there. And Cliff, again, maybe he needs to be the offensive coordinator. He needs to be something. Maybe he can be the head coach. But there needs to be somebody in that building to teach Kyler Murray how to win football games from here on Sundays.
The last division, we got the Washington FC Washington. All right, man, we're gonna run down this list real quick. We paid one of our defensive linemen who we needed to pay. We paid Mr. Jonathan Allen. They still got Matt Ioannidis. They still got Deron Payne. They still got Chase Young. They still got Montez Sweat. Jamin Davis is who I'm looking forward to seeing. Why? That's your first round pick. You had other guys on the board you could have took, and that's who you took. So now I need to see you plug him in the middle, put the headset on him, and I need to see him be the middle linebacker that you thought he was going to be. Offensively, I think the most interesting part of this offense is going to be this. Curtis Samuel, as much as I like him as a player, I think he's been used the wrong way. Logan Thomas is going to be the key to this offense, and you have 3 players on offense that do the same thing. Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, and J.D. McKissick all do the same thing. So now my question is, what is the offense going to look like?
Yeah.
Hey, I guess, starting with the offense, Germ alluded to it. They signed Curtis Samuel. Again, like you said, where's the deep threat where's the guy that's gonna help Terry McLaurin, kind of, because I mean, this is a kid that can play at all levels of the field. Okay, as outstanding receiver, but he does need help. Okay, trying to get deep because they're just gonna consistently put deep coverage over him, like they did last season. There was times where you would think that he was being an inconsistent player, but it was that he was getting a lot of double and triple team coverage if you watch the film. So they need to find some help there. I guess they think Curtis Samuel will be that guy. We'll see what happens. But the biggest signing for me, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who should be starting for the Dolphins right now. That's another story for down the line. But again, the only thing with him, putting the ball at risk. Other than that, I mean, this is a guy that can make all types of throws. And is a major playmaker, especially when the game is tight.
Listen, this defense, man, I am super excited to watch this defense from Sunday to Sunday with William Jackson now there. Kendall Fuller has quietly turned himself into one of the best secondary players across the league. His versatility, the amount of different positions he can play, the amount of different roles he can fulfill from the secondary positions is just pretty impressive. And then that front four is those are the breadwinners. Those are the thoroughbreds, rather. Those are the guys that's going to set the tone. Those are the guys that's going to punch teams in the mouth. Those are the guys that are going to control the trenches. And those are the guys that ultimately are going to decide a lot of these games. Chase Young, the Alabama boys, and Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, and then you got Montez Sweat. I mean, you just have such a impressive combination of size, speed, explosiveness, and skill. It makes it very exciting. I'm trying to same thing here. Temper my expectations with Washington because this defense just looks so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But how are they actually going to perform? How are they going to execute? How many drives is Ryan Fitzpatrick going to finish from 3 to 7? So we'll see what Washington does. But
real quick, shout out to Joe. He's saying Deontay Brown is going to be that deep threat. I haven't had a chance to study him, but if he becomes somebody that they will use a lot, we'll definitely get to the film there. But I am excited. Okay, so real quick, I am excited for their second round pick, who will help that offensive line create more time for Fitzpatrick to get those drops in. Samuel Cosmi is an excellent right tackle, so he'll be able to get next to Brandon Scherf. Sure. And definitely, provide some protection.
He's the Morgan Moses insurance policy as Morgan went left in free agency. Damani is going to be interesting because I want to see if everything he's done in college translates to the NFL. I think he's a good player. I don't know if he's a starter day one or if he can develop into a starter, right. But he has some tools. So I'm intrigued to see what he's all about moving forward. As we get to the Cowboys.
Yeah, real quick, I got the transactions for the Dallas Cowboys. Signing Dak Prescott to his extension. I mean, get that thing out of the way, get that thing done. Tell the locker room, hey, this is our leader, okay? Because, I mean, I don't think there's not one player, not only on the Dallas roster, but in the rest of the NFL that just looks up to that kid. Just a very, very, Tom Brady-like intangibles I see from Dak Prescott. Now, the question is, can he find consistency? That is ultimately the question, what separates the good from the elite. So they got the extension done. That Monte Kazi and Keanu Neal are two guys that they got from Atlanta. That's the Atlanta defense. We'll see what they bring. But Micah Parsons, first round pick. I mean, transcendent talent. Can play the middle, can play the weak side, but can also play the Sam and provide an incredible pass rush. Kind of get Jalen Smith, push him to the side a little bit, okay? I'm not a big fan of Jalen anymore. I used to be, but all that celebrating on first down, when it's first and goal, 3 yards from the goal line germ, that whole bowling, rolling shit that he likes to do, bro, get that out of here, dog. That's not cultural. That's not good stuff, because then the next play, they're running you over for a touchdown. Get that out of here, bro. Put him on the bench. You should have left with Jason Garrett to New York. My bad. Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, Hi, Dak. Can I get $1? With that being said, we got Dak. We got, of course, Tony Pollard. We got Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, I named Tony Pollard because he's a vital part of what they want to do with a lot of things as well. They have 2 good running backs, and I like the way that they use Tony Pollard and things like that in contrast to Zeke. The thing here is CeeDee Lamb, it may be this year, may prove to be the best receiver on this football team. I believe it has a lot of DeAndre Hopkins type of traits and those type of things. I believe Amari Cooper is still sensational. He is still one of the most underrated receivers we have in this game.
Yes.
Listen, health. Collins, Martin, Tyrone Smith. Let's be healthy. That's all we got to say on the offensive line. Let's give Dak a couple of years of protection, and Dak may be able to lead you somewhere. I think Dak is more than capable of doing a lot of good things. I think Blake Jarwin is more than capable of being a solid tight end with all of the receivers that you have with Gallup, Cooper, and Lamb. Now let's just put it on the field, man. Offensively, we get to see you guys, of course, in the opener. Hey, man, let's put together a classic game with the Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Defense.
My bad. my bad. My bad. Oh Lord, it's late. Look, as far as the Cowboys defense is concerned, Vic has voiced his concern over and over and over for those safeties. Ironically enough, they have Keanu Neal listed as their middle linebacker. I don't know how true that is. I don't know what that is. I got no beef with it. I got no quarrels with it.
Yeah.
I am honestly excited to see what this Dallas defense can do with DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, Keanu Neal, and Trevon Diggs. Those, and also you got Malik Hooker back there. Okay, but those names in particular are really the guys that I'm looking at to be the leaders, to be consistent, to make the plays. That again, this team is expected to put up points, so they're not expected to have. They don't need to have a defense that's going to be lights out. They just need a defense that's going to play smart, sound, situational football, and they'll be okay.
Middle of the pack.
Yes,
Middle
sir.
of the pack type of defense.
As far as the Giants are concerned, I didn't write down their draft. I ain't even gonna lie to you all. So I don't know if there's something you guys want to touch on with the draft. I know they re-signed Leonard Williams. They signed Reggie Ragland. They signed Adoree Jackson. They signed Danny Shelton. They signed Joe Looney. They signed Kenny Galladay. I mean, look, a bunch of names. Again,
a bunch of what ifs.
I'm sorry. The Giants, I like Daniel Jones, even though I didn't think he was going to amount to much. I still like the kid. I'm still going to root for the kid. They don't do nothing for me, man.
Yeah, I'll start with the defense, Jeremy, because I know you got a couple of things to say about that offense. Mo alluded to some of the signings they had. Adoree Jackson out of Tennessee. This was a kid that Jeremy and I had a second, third round grade on. Tremendous speed, but just so inconsistent with his man coverage, so inconsistent with his zone coverage. It just looks lost at times. But he goes to the Giants, provides some speed, which they definitely needed. Blake Martinez in the middle now. This is a kid that, he's going to get you 100 tackles a season. But will the tackles be behind the line of scrimmage or 7 yards into the play already? That's the question. That's the questions that I have with Jalen Smith. And those are the questions that I have with Blake Martinez. And then real quick, was
that Jeremy?
They drafted Azeez Alujari. Mo, he's in the second round. Pass rusher. This is a kid that, he provides a tremendous pass rush. He's got the traits to be a good pass rusher. But the question with him will be, his strength. Will it be to NFL level type of strength? Of course, you can go with the strength and conditioning programs in the NFL and see what they get out of that kid. But they're going to definitely need that help to complement Lorenzo Carter and, of course, Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence. That tremendous 3-down lineman package that they have.
That's funny. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What part?
The Blake Martinez thing is always funny every year. It is what it is. Listen, man, this is really simple. Saquon, we just need you to do better at finishing the game, finishing your runs. You do those things, your team is going to be an 8-9 win team there naturally. Now, Daniel Jones, you got Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Kadarius Toney. That's a lot of talent on the outside to go along with Evan Ingram, even though he's inconsistent. Now, Matt Pert, Andrew Thomas, Shane Lemieux, Will Hernandez, all of those guys are very, very good linemen. They're all very good linemen. We just need to see it transition and translate on the field. And they also brought in Billy Price from Cincinnati, who probably is going to end up winning this center job by sometime in the middle of the year. This Giants offense has a chance to be better than last year. The problem is you need your quarterback, which was a top 6 pick, and your running back that was a top 6 pick to play like top 6 picks. And that's just what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all play like, then y'all season is going to be like, and because when you sitting, you start to smell like it. So check the crack of your ass.
Real quick, fellas. Quentin Nelson and Nick Chubb or Saquon Barkley and Will Hernandez?
Goodbye.
Come on now. Go ahead with your transactions for Philly, Vic.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about here unless I miss something. They traded for Gardner Minshew. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, if he beats out Jalen Hurts in the middle of the season or something, I don't know. Anyway, Devontae Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama, first round. He played with Jalen a little bit in Alabama. Should provide him some more speed. Somebody that I can, at least can get deep, because they constantly are drafting receivers that just get horizontal, germ. But Devontae Smith should bring a little bit more physicality to that outside, as well as somebody that can get down deep downfield.
Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of gimmick from this offense coming up. I see a lot of things that are just drawn up on a chalkboard and not really any real thought as to how we can apply it in principle on the field on Sundays against other professional grown men. So I'm not really looking forward to watching this Eagles offense like other people are, unless after 2-3 weeks I see Jalen Hurts is doing phenomenal things. No offense to Jalen. Same thing. I like the kid. I think he is a very humble, very good young man. Just as a quarterback. Listen, man, keep the change. I don't know. Go ahead, Jerm.
Can we get rid of Fletcher Cox and just take him off the defense? Because I'm tired of wasting good talent. Fletch, you got your ring. Get out of it. Just go home. Brandon Graham, retire. Ryan Kerrigan, retire.
Yeah, why Kerrigan even go there? Like,
look, man, let's just be honest. They got a couple pieces here, even with Anthony Harris, but the rest of it just feels like it doesn't fit. Mm-hmm. Like they don't tackle well. That's something that can be worked on. But even in coverage, they're getting their asses handed to them in every which way. The linebacking core, I'm so confused as to why Philadelphia doesn't draft linebackers. Like it's like they got a vendetta. Like they say, literally, we don't like any of these linebackers, so we ain't gonna draft them. Bro, you gotta have a linebacker in order for you to say you don't want to draft one. And you ain't had a linebacker since you had Eric Kendricks, or since you had Nigel Bradham. We don't have anything here that's worth talking about outside of the players that I've already named. So, Darius Slay, I need for you to stop letting DK Metcalf slap you around like that. That was pretty bad. He was slapstick. But with everything being said, Philly, I don't expect you to be good. I don't expect you to win very many games. Has zero to do with the offense, has more to do with the fact that I don't think their defense is going to stop. I think their defense is going to be one of the 5 worst defenses in football. And I'm actually going to go and stretch it and say one of the 3 worst defenses in football.
Hey, listen, man. Shout out to everybody who is still on, watching, and commenting. God bless you. We love you. You deserve a gift for being on with us for this long. We didn't want to go this long, but you know how it goes. We wanted to get this out of the way so we could just kind of really feel it. You know what I mean? This was more of an exercise, a lyrical exercise for the Views crew. And we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We hope we entertained you. Don't forget, tomorrow we will be on live, same channel, pregame, Cowboys, Bucks. It's my little brother's birthday. We're going to have wings. We're going to have pizza. We're going to have wings with bone. Shout out to Todd Love, though. Germ, Vic, anything you want to say before we get out of here? Because I'm fighting sleep.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, yeah, nah, just looking forward to it, man. We're gonna expand on what we talked about today.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Germ.
If you guys see me popping in and out tomorrow, I'll be wearing a uniform. I'll probably be at work trying to pop in and out. So with that being said, I need y'all to know it ain't business, it's personal. But Sunday, Sunday? Oh, it's on. Oh, it's on Sunday. Hey. It's on Sunday.
Sunday, y'all,
Sunday.
Man. Sunday again. Sunday is gonna be a hell of a show. It's gonna have a lot of energy to it. Bring your coffee, bring your bagels, bring your hash browns, whatever it is that you do in the morning.
Your hash browns.
All right, don't worry about it. Okay, it's getting late. The professional voice is fading. Okay. Cinca, you're dead, man. Views from the 22 live on the scene.